One of my clients has secured partnerships with pretty much every major sports team here in the US. And so we have lined up a proper, safe outdoor tour to take on the country and raise a lot of money and do a lot of good for people. So I'm really excited to hit the road with him and our team. And Tim Storey, I mean, like everybody said, he is one of the best speakers, storytellers, guaranteed. Even if you have heard him speak, you will take away something that is new. So grab a pen, grab a piece of paper. You might even want to grab a Kleenex too, because this is going to be absolutely massive. Always happy to end my nights with you guys and grateful to be here. This is Giselle in the Purple, and I'm done speaking.
Love that, Giselle, and love the win of the week. So, yeah, pleasure to have you here. I will be modding people as we go through. The show gets started around 7 o'clock. So if you have anything you want to share, come up on stage and ask any of this phenomenal panel a question. You're more than welcome. And just to give a quick reminder that Tim Storey is on today. He was on last Friday. He did break the rules of Breakfast with Winners, made us overrun. So we're bringing him back so that we have the opportunity for the audience, the panel, to really dig deep and deep dive with Tim Storey. So, yeah, let's move forward. Diamond, are you in the house?
Yes, I'm here.
Perfect. What's your win of the week? And Tim Storey, has he had the impact on your life? And guys, just to refresh, this is a bit of an appreciation this morning of everyone that is in the house. I see you all. I appreciate you all. And I'm going to urge people that are in the audience, that are regular listeners, to come up on stage and, yeah, contribute. I want to connect with the people that I see you turn up every day. But Diamond, back to you. What's your win of the week? What's the impact Tim Storey has had on you?
This is Diamond, and I hope you guys can hear me okay. I have noise in the background. I apologize for that. But yes, my win of the week is I was able to have a meeting with a long lost associate. We used to model together, and now she's moved over into entrepreneurship investment. I have as well, and we are working on a JV partnership. So I'm so excited to be reunited with her after all these years and now be doing business together again. So that's a big win for me. And I can't wait to hear from Tim Storey. I tell you what, I had the pleasure of being in a room with him a few weeks ago, and he blew me away. Oh my goodness. So I have to echo Giselle's sentiments about taking notes. I have my pen and paper ready. I can't wait for the gems that he's going to drop today. Looking forward to it. And thank you so much, the Winners Club, Ashley, everyone, for having me here. This is Diamond, and I am complete.
Yeah, I appreciate you here, Diamond. Appreciate everyone here. Thank you very much for your share. And let's move forward. So, guys, Beju, you in the house, my friend?
Morning, Ashley. Morning, guys. Yeah, I'm here. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. What's your win of the week? And yeah, what's your views on Tim Storey? You was here last week.
Hang on. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. My win of the week is yesterday. John kindly invited me to be part of his book launch, and the win of the week has got to be me playing You Can't Touch This to MC Hammer while he was next to me on stage. Unbelievable. I did the Running Man back in the day, and it came out the closet yesterday, and that was unreal doing that. So, John, I want to thank you so much. A dream come true. My kids came around last night, and I told them, they were looking at me like, what the hell has happened to you? It was unbelievable. And I was playing You Can't Touch This all night. So that was my win of the week. Tim Storey, last week, just like the way he articulates himself and his storytelling, it takes you to a place in your soul that others can't touch. So, yeah, it's the way he does it that just hits you. So I'm really looking forward to this morning and listen to him and what he's got to say. But yeah, MC Hammer all the way. You can't touch this. Go for it, Ashley. Good morning, guys.
Love it, Beju. Love it. And yeah, Beju's part of the community here. This is a community, and I see the people that are here every day, and I appreciate every single one of you. So, Lucienne, good morning. How are you?
Morning. I'm good, thanks. Are you all right, Ash?
Yeah, I'm really good. I mean, yeah, I'm pumped up, ready to go. I'm excited for Tim because last week I thought it was phenomenal. So that's why there is part 2. So back to you then, Lucienne.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? That I was saying yesterday, along the same lines of what Beju was just saying. you know, if you'd have told me 3 years ago when I was director in education, just pulling my hair out and really, really unhappy, that in 3 years' time I would be in the same space as Tim Storey, had a load of new entrepreneurial friends, and got to sit alongside MC Hammer and introduce a book launch for a new good friend, I'd have told you to go away. It's just absolutely insane, and I can't believe Tim Storey's coming back. Well, I can, because you provide such an amazing community. But the wins have definitely been my new community for me this week. Incredible. And also, one of my clients has just become VAT registered, and she's only been trading for 8 months. So standing start to becoming VAT registered, I'm just so proud of her. I have to throw that one in as well. Lovely to be here. Happy Friday, Ash.
Always a pleasure to have you here, Lucian. So let's move forward. So Maria, was you here last week?
Yes. I cannot wait to part 2 with Tim. Amazing. The stories that he's telling. I just cannot wait to sit down, have my coffee, and enjoy the conversation. One thing I wanted to say is, Ashley, I bumped into a room yesterday, and you were there, and you were answering a question. And I was so impressed with what you were saying, because we're used to have you here as a mod, and you're making this room flow, and you're bringing up people and moving the conversation. But when I heard you yesterday actually give your opinion about, I think it was a marketing strategy, I was so impressed. And I was going to say, you have to do more of that in this room, because we never really hear your opinion. So that was a note. I can't really find something super exciting that happened to me this week. The only thing I would say is I felt that my community on Instagram was a little bit down from all the polls that I was doing, and I did the Q&A to uplift them. And I got some great feedback that everyone was feeling a little bit down this week, and I helped everyone feel a little bit better and give them some practical strategies to boost their mood and be a little bit more motivated. So nothing major from me, but yeah, just going with the flow and enjoying life. This is Maria in the green circle, and I'm done speaking.
Fantastic. It's always a pleasure to have you here, Maria. And well, the thing is, this room is the community space. I could chew people's ears off for hours about.
Believe me, he's done it since 6 o'clock this morning when we all arrived in the studio. To me and James, we've had enough of it already.
But yeah, no, I could chew people's ears off. Yeah, and thank you for the shout out. Because I like to make this room about the panel, the audience, and. Yeah, so when I'm a co-host, I don't mind contributing and giving my point of view and my opinions in marketing and sales and things like that. So yeah, but thank you for the shout out, Maria. So let's move on. Always a pleasure to have you all here. So just to do a quick refresh, we will be starting the room around 7, getting people up on stage. I will be modding people as we go through the intros, just to keep the room alive. So Maya, are you in the house?
I am. Happy Friday, Ash.
How are you doing? Happy Friday. It's been a while.
It has, hasn't it? I've been playing through it quite a bit. Sorry, I do apologise. So yeah, my win of the week, couple, but I will say my client's win of the week, which always makes me happy. 2 members within my PR membership one got a national TV press that she never thought she would get, and another got a national, she got in the Telegraph newspaper. So that's pretty big wins for people who never thought they could get PR. But yeah, Tim Storey, I was a bit late again to class last week. Caught the end of it, and amazing, absolutely amazing. And the way he interacts with the members and the audience was just magical. So he's such an inspiration, and I'm bright and early today, so I won't miss it.
I love it, Maya. So I hope it's sorry, I had my phone unmuted as well. So me doing schoolboy errors, as they say. So as I say anyway. So it's an absolute pleasure to have you, Maya. But credit, are you in the house?
Of course, I'm always in the house.
Well, could you please fire away with your win of the week? Because I know the time zone difference and Tim Storey. Yes.
Yeah. So my win of the week is being able to coach one of my VIP clients to get his dream home. And it was buying a home from a brother. And the thing is, he wanted it so desperately. And I told him, well, I want you to step back a little bit and be patient, because if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Sometimes when you push forward, it's not your time, and it shows a sense of desperation. And when he did that, the next like 2 days, the wife called and said, you know what, we've decided to sell the home to you at your price because we've committed to another home. So he got into his dream home. So, you know, being patient is really key to any negotiations. And yesterday I met Christopher Voss, who's the FBI negotiator at an event in Vegas. And that kind of round up the week for me in terms of knowing that what I learned from Christopher Voss and applying it to my coaching program has really brought me up to that next level. So I'm excited to see what Tim Storey has for us in this room. So thanks for having me, Credit Ninja with the purple hair. I'm done speaking.
Perfect. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Credit. I just need to circle back around. Just needed to pull to refresh. So, Tom, are you in the house, my friend? Tom, are you there? I know the time zone difference. People step away, step back in, but we will circle back around. But yeah, pleasure to have you here, Credit. Jeanette, are you there?
I am. Good morning, Ashley. Good morning, everyone. Great to be here. Cool topic, actually. It's always important to celebrate the wins. So this week, I've had a great week, actually. And similar to some of the other people that have spoken, I've taken on actually 2 new one-to-one mentee clients in the corporate world, and is actually going to be part of a sale of a business. So that's exciting. I'll be helping her navigate through that. And then another mentee client that actually wants to start a side hustle and grow a property business. So again, I'll be working with that client intensely to help them really go to the next level. So really pleased about that. I also really enjoyed the room I ran last night. So massive thank you and shout out to Beju, who that was great because we had nearly 2,000 people come through the room, so that was cool. So yeah, great to be here. I think back to you, Ashley.
Thank you for being here as well, Jeanette. I'd see. Most mornings, it means a lot to me. So thank you very much. So what we're going to be doing, guys, is we're going to be bringing some questions up. Anything around personal development, business, mindset, entrepreneurial. Back to some old school, straight talking business questions. You're having any troubles with marketing, anything around that, the hand raise button is open. If not, we will be throwing the curveball in and getting moderators to ask moderators questions, speakers asking speakers questions. But let's my voice, I can't get my voice out this morning. Well, Alex, before we go swimming, you can't be going swimming in this weather. You can't be.
Of course. Yeah, I'm in the car actually, just hearing Jeanette's kind words. So there were some many kind words spoken about yourself, Ashley, in Susan Stocker's room last night as well. So keep on doing what you're doing, dude. But yeah, on my way to kickstart the day. Looking forward to the end of the week. Been a successful week. So yeah, just happy to support as always. Anyone who wants to know more about me, just tap on my profile and find out.
Or go look in the sea at 7 in the morning and you'll find his head bopping up and down. Or go over to his Instagram and you will see. Okay. Lovely. Pleasure to have you here. So, guys, we will be doing some popcorn style intros now. I will be modeling some people as we go through the show. So it is just coming up to 7 o'clock. So let's get the ball rolling. Let's get some hand raised. Guys, speakers, moderators, we're all the same. So let's make sure that we serve each other, give value, and let's just quickly do a reset before we rock and roll.
Right. So, guys, if you haven't been in the room before and you don't know what's going on, you might see that some of us have got our mics muted, but the Winners Club isn't. That is because we are live from a studio, James, Ashley and I, and over the next few weeks, we're going to have some guests coming into the studio as well. Now the world is opening up back up to normal. And you can view that live stream by clicking on the Winners Club profile, clicking on my profile. I'm Paul with the blue background, James's profile or Ashley's profile, following us through to the bio and then clicking on the Winners Club. And you will see a link that says live studio and you can see us and view us. If you're doing that, make sure you mute the YouTube feed and listen via the audio of Clubhouse, and then you won't get any echoes. And now the other thing is follow the Winners Club, the greenhouse at the top. And you might have heard earlier, if you was in the room, John mentioned about his book. Now, John's very modest. He doesn't really promote his stuff, so we're going to do it for him, I think.
He's a bit too modest, isn't
he? Yes. So what we've done is we made it easy for you to find that book. So again, if you click through to the Winners Club profile and you go through to the link in the Instagram page, you can click the link that says get the book and it takes you straight to the page where you can purchase that book. And if you use the discount code TRUTH25, you will get a 25% discount on that purchase.
How much, Paul?
25%.
How do they do it again? Just use the discount code TRUTH25.
25. That is it. And also, if you're viewing the live stream, you'll see a bit.ly link as well to make it easy for you. So that's bit.ly/today's date 09/04/21. So we've made it easy for you to find it. So please go and find it. We love to support people in this room, regulars that come back every single time. So please go and find that, support the book, support the community. That would be fantastic. And welcome to the Winners Club, the live stream experience. We've got Tim Storey later. And just because we can and we've got the ability to do it, and James loves to press the buttons. He's like a kid. He's going to press a button and play some music, and then we're going to start the room again. No, that's the wrong button.
Press the wrong button, didn't I?
Yeah, there we go.
Don't worry about it. Hang on, I've got a better button.
Schoolboy.
Winners Club is the weekly podcast that shares the highlights and insights from some of the most meaningful and impactful conversations.
This is also the wrong theme music. No one knows that, don't worry. No one spotted it.
The Winners Club. Join host Ashley Shipman as he summarizes some of the key lessons and learnings shared during the week by his world-class speakers, who include billionaires, business icons, and elite level performers from across the globe.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from around the world, get excited. It's only Ashley Shipman. Hey! Come on. Let's rock and roll.
And Ashley, if you don't know, you've never met Ashley in real life.
God damn it, he's handsome.
We turned up at the gate of the studio. There's a car park we pull into, and I let the boys into the gate at about 5:45 this morning. And Ashley bounces out of his car like it's 3:00 in the afternoon. Bags of energy, dancing around the car park, ready to rock and roll. So he is as enthusiastic as you hear in Clubhouse in real life at 05:45 in the morning, like he was today.
He is the message that he preaches. I also might have cut up Ashley at the traffic lights. So he's like, "Who's that idiot?" And I was like, "Sorry, Ash. I'm in a rush. I can't wait." So very excited. Tim Storey.
You can tell we don't get out a lot at the moment, can't you? That it's been COVID. And
what's going to happen next week when everyone's allowed to leave the house? We'll be much less enthusiastic, won't we? We're like, all right, yeah, just another day at the house, isn't it? It feels like a proper treat now, doesn't it? I feel guilty not doing the night feed because I have to get up at 5:00 in the morning to go to work. And I also have to frame that this is work. I'm like, oh, bye. Daddy's going to work. And my wife looks at me like, Daddy ain't going to work, is he? Daddy's knocking about with his pals for a couple of hours. I'm like, no, this is serious. We're on Clubhouse. Ash, where are we at? What are we doing now?
I just want to say thank you very much for the acknowledgement there. And I am a bundle of energy. Most of the time anyway. I was jumped out the motor and just was like, yeah, what's going on? And it was still dark. So
he had his Costa coffee in his hand and away we went. That was it. 5:45 a.m. Off we go.
Lovely. So what we're doing is now we're going to be making sure that we have a phenomenal panel as always. We have loads and loads of experience and different expertise. So let's make sure we serve as a community here. Everyone here on the stage is part of this community. That is what this room is about. This isn't my room. This isn't anyone's room. This is our room. We make it here to support everyone on their journey. So first things first, what I want to do is do some popcorn style, do a few more popcorn styles of wins of the week and your if Tim Storey has had an impact on you. So just going to work my way down. Anyone want to flash their mic while I bring some people up onto stage? And I will be modding people in the next half an hour. It's only because, guys, when Tim Storey gets here, you have to pay the respect of bringing him right up to the top. So if you just bear with me, anyone here, I will mod you when he gets here, but I will have to rejig the stage. So just bear with me. And when he's here, I will mod you all. It's not like every day you get to share a stage with Tim Storey. So, guys, anyone want to flash their mic of the win of the week or Tim Storey's impact? Alex, are you flashing before you go swimming? And that sounded a little bit wrong.
I am flashing before I go swimming. Indeed, and that does sound really, really wrong, but we'll forgive you. It's only 7 a.m., buddy. You've only had one cup of coffee, I reckon.
He's flashing before he gets in the sea. He definitely will not be flashing when he gets back out of the sea because it's about 3 degrees. I think Monique was
be able to see a thing.
I think Monique, thanks for filling in the gap there, Alex, that we had all alluded to. Monique, I think Monique was flashing her mic. Monique, are you there? What's your win of the week, my friend?
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much. I'm so pumped for this. So my win of the week, a client win I want to share. They just hit their first 500K for the end of Q1. So I'm like, yes, huge win. Also got my vaccine, so I got my flight booked back for Newcastle. So I'm like so thankful to travel again. And I had the privilege to share a stage with Tim Storey a couple weeks ago, and I was just like blown away. And I'm just like, I think what really impacted me is just how he's able to like really think through and overcome obstacles and everything too. So I'm super excited for today. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome stuff. Great win of the week. I love the fact that your win was somebody else's win as well. That tells us everything we need to know about you, Monique. Fantastic stuff. John is flashing his mic. John, what is your win of the week, my friend? And has Tim Storey had an impact on your life?
Well, I'm going to go with a few wins of the week. It's been a mega busy week. We finished the tax year end. We survived it as financial advisors, so that's always a win for us. But also other wins for the week. I had a great meeting with Nick from Scale Up Your Business yesterday. And hopefully there's going to be some good collaborations there on helping my clients scale up their business, and even a few of them exit their businesses and walk off into the sunset. So that was a massive win for me. And then in terms of client successes, I've got 3 or 4 clients at the moment who we've sold a few investments off, and they're buying dream houses. One of them's just bought a 30-acre plot up in Yorkshire, which is incredible, and it could not make me happier to sell those investments and get them into that house, because it's just it makes my life worth living. It's brilliant. So they're my wins for the week.
Oh, I love that, John. Again, I love the fact that people are sharing wins of other people, and that makes your win. That's nice. 30 acres in Yorkshire. Very, very, very fancy.
Oh, it's stunning. It's stunning.
Flash, whereabouts in Yorkshire have they gone?
I'm not going to say, because there probably aren't too many 30-acre plots, but
that's all it is up in Yorkshire, isn't it? It's all fields and land, isn't it? That's what I thought. That's what somebody told me anyway. But I've never left beyond the North Circular.
A couple of quad bikes, so he's promised me we'll go quad biking around the land when we have our next meeting.
See, there you go.
If you do the meetings, I'm looking forward to.
Exactly, you do the right thing, and the right thing will happen back for you. Quad biking and fun sounds good to me. That's a win all round. Mods, flash your mic if you've got a win of the week that you'd love to share. Dale is flashing his mic. Dale, what's your win of the week, my friend?
Good morning, James. You win, are you? Well, I've got 2 cheeky wins. The first one was a client win, if we're staying on that trend. My client used to have non-epileptic fits, which means she used to have fits through stress. And she used to have about 7 a week. And now, after working with me for a little bit, she is only having 1 a week. And I'm so, so proud and chuffed of her. And my second win is Tim Storey followed me on Instagram. Yay. That's me done.
Oh, I mean, that was the light and shade of wins there, wasn't it? It was something really, really impactful. And then somebody following you on social media. But I have the same thing. He retweeted a story of mine last night. I was like, I feel like a legend. What an amazing win from your client, though. That's absolutely unbelievable. Well done, you, mate. Long may her journey to recovery continue. Mods, flash your mics if you've got a win of the week you'd love to share, or if Tim Storey has had an impact. Susan, coming to you. Susan, what's your win of the week?
Morning, lovelies. Actually, I've got 2, if that's okay. So, first one was yesterday, the amazing Maria, who's up here, asked to do an interview room with me. And I thought she meant for me to interview her. So I was like, sure, what do you want me to ask? And then I realized she meant, no, she actually wanted to interview me about manifesting. So not only was I blown away and it was an amazing room, but also it just made me fully realize that I want to do more rooms on that. And so, yeah, kind of like found myself a little bit more, got good feedback. So I'm feeling really good about that. And my second win has got to be the amazing John's win yesterday, the launch, listening to all the love for this absolutely legend of a humble man. But not only that, it was probably Beju, literally picturing him doing the Running Man while he played MC Hammer. You can't touch this. I think he shouted, like, said something to him. MC Hammer was flashing his mic. He followed him. It was a moment, you guys, if you missed it, and absolutely brilliant. So my win was for Beju for sure yesterday as well.
Oh, bless you, Susan. Thank you. Love, I've made that.
Well, we've got Beju hopefully coming into the studio, and social distancing allows it in a couple of weeks. So maybe we can get on the.
Not hopefully, he's booked.
Oh, he's booked.
He's booked. He's in the club. He's booked.
We'll get the running man out on.
Man in the studio.
Yeah, we'll get the running man in the studio. We'll get Beju live. If you'd like to see Beju do the running man live on a live stream, please flash your mics now. I'm joking, by the way. We're going to make him do it wherever anyone. Everyone's flashed anyway. That's good. Yeah, great win there. And again, just a quick reminder, if you want to get hold of this amazing book, and if you're like, why does everyone keep talking about this book? Called John, who is a regular contributor to this group, and a man who is much more humble than his huge successes should make him, has released an amazing book, and it's getting adulation from around the world. So you can get the book. You can go onto the live stream. No, we don't, John. It's our show. Pipe down. Well, we can hear you blushing. Pipe. Well, we are going to do that. I'm the Flavor Flav hype man to your who was the other guy from Flavor Flav? I probably shouldn't have brought up Flavor Flav with John, should I? Too late. I've done it now. So you can find out what you're talking.
No, nor do I.
The guy we had the big clock on, Flavor Flav. Who's the hype man? Who's the? I'm going to find out. I'll come back to you guys. Don't worry.
Public Enemy. Public Enemy.
Public Enemy. There you go. Flavor Flav was the hype man.
He is Public Enemy. Public Enemy is the group. Chuck D is the main man. Flavor Flav is the hype guy.
There you go. Thank you very much. I love the fact that Beju jumped in there. Maybe we should do a quiz with Beju when he comes in. Random 80s and 90s rap knowledge. That'd be good. But yeah, John's book, Truth Be Told, you can get the book via bit.ly, bit.ly/090421. And if you use the discount code TRUTH25, you get 25% off that book. And we're supporting John because he supports this room non-stop. So awesome. Mods, flash your mics if you've got a win of the week that you would love to share. Christy, what's your win of the week, my friend?
Hey, good morning, winners. Hi from Washington State. This is Christy Jensen. Super excited to be here. My win of the week is when I go on stages and I add value, I get the best feeling ever. And it's amazing because I get to meet people like you. I ended up making a business deal this week with a bunch of other winners that I met on Clubhouse, which is so cool that we can all come together and shine our lights, and then we all get to see what each other's do, and it makes it even better that we can work together. And I'm reading The Miracle Mentality right now, and I cannot wait to get John's book as well. So thank you guys for having me. Excited to be on the stage to give value. So I'm excited. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for being here, Christy. Very much appreciated. Great that people are taking the knowledge that's being shared, getting the books from the fantastic authors, etc. I know in this sort of like day and age of social media, it can seem a little bit, everything's a bit easier than it used to be. But imagine, back in the day, being able to actually speak to the author of an amazing book and find out how they created it and why they created it and the methodology behind it. I think it's a real treat and something that we maybe take a little bit for granted for in this day and age. God, I sound like my dad. This day and age, you guys don't know you're born.
We have a lot of books come through this room as well, don't we? So
we do.
We should have a shelf in the studio with all of the books.
We should.
That's good, isn't it?
Can you speak to your people to arrange that? I mean, there's hardly anything in this a couple of weeks ago. Now there's TVs, there's a full live stream facility, there's cameras. Could you get a shelf as well?
The Winners Club bookshelf.
Oh, I like it. Okay.
It'll be here for next week.
It'll be, there you go. You heard it here first. So by the time you tune in to watch Beju doing the Running Man in a couple of weeks, you can also look at a bookshelf. How many more reasons do you need to tune in to a live feed? Maybe a few more. Mods, flash your mics if you've got a win of the week that you would love to share. Marisa, let's go to you.
Hello, everybody. Good morning to you, and good evening to anybody tuning in from over in the U.S. I got a couple of wins, but my first one, both of my wins are actually going to be from like kind of being at a down point to a win. So I busted over a hump in my business this week, and everything has been really good since then. So I let a lovely breakdown on Monday, and then it was one of those breakdowns that gets you a lot of clarity, like gives you a kick in the ass to give you all the clarity that you need. So that was fantastic. The second one is we're going to call it a blessing. That blessing is my uncle, one of my family members was assaulted And we are blessed that he was viciously assaulted, by the way, and we are blessed that he is actually alive. So that is a win of the week across the board. So this is Marisa, done speaking.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for your shares. Very much appreciate it. I love hearing about people's wins of the week. What a nice way to end the week. Good energy and good vibes all around here in the Clubhouse. Right, we're going to open up to some questions now because we've got an amazing panel of experts. And again, this is one of the things I think we maybe take a little bit for granted on this platform now, how many amazing experts there are who sort of tune in every single day to this room, and the sort of people you can get access to so easily, so abundantly, and on a daily basis. So let's make sure we open it up and give as much value as possible, because it's nice to have a chit chat about your week, but also let's try and help some people as well. So Nick was the first person up. Nick, are you there? Do you have a question for our expert panel, my friend?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to share my wins. Actually, I gained 50 more followers on Clubhouse, if it can be considered as a win. And also, I'm a co-founder and CEO at Go For It app, connecting car dealers with car transporters, and we gained 35 new users. So this week already, and so I'm not much traction, but still very positive numbers. That's all I wanted to share. Thank you.
Awesome. So you didn't have a question for our panel. You just wanted to share your win of the week. Is that right, Nick?
I have a question actually regarding as I see people of many backgrounds, and I was reading actually backgrounds, and I was kind of formulating my question as soon as you announced me. So if you don't mind, I will take 1 or 2 more minutes, and I'll later make more meaningful question if you don't mind.
No worries at all. You take a sit back, have a cup of tea, maybe a biscuit, and come back to us when you're ready. Flash your mic when you're ready later, Nick. We're here to serve you, my friend. Ian, the amazing Amazing Graham, are you have you got a question for our expert panel, my friend?
I'd love to have a question, but my first one is that my win is I've got 2 wins of made. First one is we're going back to work, and we've been able to we're hairdressers, and we've got salons full for the next probably 4-6 weeks. We've got happy staff, we've got a happy environment. My second win is everybody on this panel. About 8 weeks ago when I joined, it was like looking through a frosted piece of window, and now it's completely open. And the amount of inspiration that everybody on that panel has given me with little tidbits and nuggets has been astronomically fantastic. And Ashley and the team, I just absolutely love waking up without an alarm clock at 5 o'clock in the morning, ready, thinking, I hope I'm not lied in to miss 6:30 clubbing. That's what I've got to say, and I just really want to thank you.
Oh, I love that. And I also like the fact you call it clubbing. That makes it sound more exciting, doesn't it? We're not doing Clubhouse, guys. We're doing clubbing. I know Beju would be all about that, wouldn't he? He'll be loving that.
Meet me in the club.
Did you also have a question, Ian, or did you just want to get us all hyped up about
I
the
just
new
want to share the love and thank everybody for just making my life a much happier and more cleared and vision way for me going forward with my business. I really appreciate it.
Oh, awesome stuff. Thank you very much, my friend. We appreciate you. And yeah, good luck to all of those retail businesses and all those bricks and mortar businesses as you guys get to open up here in the UK on April 12th. I hope that it's very busy. I can't get a haircut for 8 weeks. So my barber's obviously doing very well, which is great because they can make up for lost time. So long may it continue. Right. I think the next person who was up, was it Arif? I think it was Arif. Did you have a question for our expert panel, my friend?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Sir, I just wanted to share my wins of the week, and I'm here to learn. Through your channel, through your room, I was able to connect with an influencer with 105,000 followers. We secured the first retail buyer in Saudi Arabia for bamboo shapewear. So I'm really excited. I'm here to learn, sir. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Pen and paper ready to learn.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Arif. And also, sir, I feel like I've sat up a bit more straighter. I feel a bit more. Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Sir, I'm going to call a couple of people sir today and see if it makes them feel legendary as well. Obviously, we've got a lot of experts on the panel, but we're not experts in everything. So, as panel, if Popcorn Star, have you got any questions or queries? We've got some amazing other people here who know about business scale up and social media and marketing and podcasting and PR and coaching and mindset and motivation and personal development, etc. So, if any of the mods have got a question or any of the speakers on the panel have got a question for anybody else, feel free to flash your mic. I'm just going to see if anyone's flashing. I don't think. Oh, Jeanette, over to you. What's your question for our panel?
Okay, so my question, we're all about high performance and winning and all of those great things, which is wonderful. But of course, life is never a straight line, is it? There are ups and downs in everything that we do. So I just thought it would be useful to hear from the panel, when you get a knockback, maybe a no, or a client doesn't go with you or whatever, you lose a sale or whatever happens, what's the one thing that gets you back on track and gets you in a positive mindset? So being able to take see a no or failure as a positive and learning, what's the one thing that helps you get back focused on the win and the positive rather than the negative?
Oh, I love that. That's brilliant. Mods, who wants to take? I heard when I was listening to Tim Storey's podcast with Oprah this morning on the way in, as I was driving in, he's got an amazing speech where he talks about that a setback is a setup for a comeback. And I was like, oh, that sounds fantastic. But anyone on the panel got anything they'd like to share? John, we better come to John, the author, the man of the moment. John, over to you. Take as long as you like. You are the king of the platform for the next 5 minutes.
Well, it's a great question, actually. And I suppose it's changed over the years. So, like everybody, the first time that you put your heart and soul into something and you don't get it, you get disappointed, etc., etc. And actually, if I look back and forget business for a moment, think about the real things in life. When you meet that partner that you want to spend time with or the rest of your life with, or you want that dream home that you think you're going to get. Sometimes when you think you've met that person decides that you're not the one for them. And that can be heartbreaking. And then you go on and you find somebody else and you spend 30 years of happy married life. Or you put you put all your hope into buying a particular house, say, and you think, gosh, this is our dream home and this is the one that we're going to get. And then somebody comes in and snaps it up. And then actually you go and find another dream home. So actually, the longer you go through life and you have these sort of things, you begin to realize that one failure, one lost client is nothing, because there'll be others there. But the reason that we feel that loss, in my view, is because we put our heart and souls into it, be it a relationship or trying to win that client or get that home or whatever. And if you don't put your heart and soul in it, then it's not going to be worth anything. But if it doesn't come to you, then actually you've just got to be able to put the long view in mind and think there's going to be more. So that's me, and I've done talking.
Oh, I love that. Words of wisdom. Anyone else got anything they'd like to add on how they utilize a setback as a setup for a comeback? Not my words, the words of Tim Storey. Victoria's flashing. Let's go to you, Victoria.
That terminology, James, she's flashing. God, it's the new one, isn't it? So yeah, kind of on the back of what John was saying, but really simply, that I always say that rather than looking at it as why is this happening to me, looking at it and saying, like, what is this trying to teach me, and acting on that right there and then. So really sitting with the problem or the obstacle that you've had and what has happened in your life, whether that is a disappointed setback, whether that is a no, and sometimes we say, oh, in years to come you'll realize why it happened, and everything happens for a reason, which it does. But if you can tackle it there and then and try and find the positive in it then and there, then you're able to move on from it so much quicker. So yeah, sit with it, assess why it's happened, and then try and learn from it straight away rather than letting it fester for too long. So yeah, that's what I've been doing recently, and it's actually really been helping. So write things down as well. I find that really helps. Write down everything that happened and look at it in a sense that if this was to happen in a different situation or a different circumstance, then how would it be beneficial for you? Was it the right choice at the time, or maybe it's not actually the best thing for you and you just thought it was? So yeah, try and tackle it straight away rather than let things fester.
Good shout. Tackle it straight away. Don't let it fester. Love that. We've got Christina who's come up, I believe, to ask a question of the panel. Christina, are you there? Have you got a question for our lovely panel of experts?
Yes, I do. Thank you so much for having me. I've noticed, James, thank you for inviting me. What are your tips for somebody who's one day interested in becoming a podcaster and just keeping people's interests and just like being creative of topics and things like that? Thank you for having me.
A podcasting question. Well, I would normally hand this out to other people, but sod you lot, I'm going to take this one myself because that's my jam. That's my bag. These are my people. I don't know why I said like that. It was a bit weird, wasn't it? Frankly, I wish I could take it back, but it's too late now. So the question about like, how do you keep going as a podcaster or keeping things interesting? I would say the number one thing that you need to do as a podcaster is speak on a subject that you have infinite enthusiasm for. Because as you go forward, there's a thing called pod fade. I think I saw a stat yesterday. Something like 70% of shows still do not get past episode number 10. When you start a podcast and you launch a podcast, if you do it in the right way and you get loads of excitement around it, and if you follow the tactics like my agency use, if you take the warm market and the cold market, make them warm, and the warm market, make them hot, and you have a top 10 hit, which we do for all of our clients and all the rest of it, it's very exciting. But as you sort of move forwards, couple of weeks into it, and then maybe all your friends and your family and your client and everyone's not so enthusiastic and not as many people are supporting it, there's that natural drop off of enthusiasm from other people. It does get a little bit difficult. You get into what I call the trenches, and you'll be in the trench for probably let's say episode 7 to episode 25, when it starts to, people are used to seeing it, the reticular activation system kicks in, people get used to seeing your content on a consistent basis. You maybe get a few smaller wins. If you haven't picked a subject of your podcast that you are infinitely excited about and have enthusiasm and energy for, you will drop off. And I know before you launch a podcast, like, no, but I'm different. I'm excited. I'm going to get my USB mic and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to talk to people. I guarantee if you do not do a subject that you are massively enthusiastic about, you will drop off. Also, I'd say there's so many podcasts out there now, not as many as people would have you believe, by the way, but pick a subject that you can really genuinely give your expertise and enthusiasm to. You're not going to hear me doing a podcast on high-end fashion or beauty or high-performing fitness, because it's just not the thing that I'm interested in. Branding, podcasting, mindset, that stuff I can talk about all day long. So pick a subject that you know very well and pick a subject that you're enthusiastic about. That would be my advice. And I hope that helps. Anyone else? Go on. Sorry, Christina.
I just wanted to say I really do appreciate that, and also I really like your voice. But anyways, I was curious, like how did how you said you like mindset and those 3 different topics? How did you know which one to hone in on to? Like, because you have like you just named 3 that you were really into. How do you know which one was your winner out of the 3 choices that you actually mentioned?
Well, it depends on what you're doing the podcast for. So, for example, with me, I did my show's called Building the Brand. And the reason why I did that is because I knew that it had a business benefit. So when I launched that show, I actually didn't know what I was going to turn it into. I didn't know it was going to turn into a bigger business or consultancy or whatever. But my background is in branding, marketing and podcasting. So I was like, well, if I do something, I'm enthusiastic about branding. I knew I could get around, do interesting conversations. I've had like Joseph Valente on The Apprentice. I've had Daniel Gray, who's creating the world's fastest growing male makeup brand. I've had Rob Law, MBE, the guy who invented the trunky suitcase. So it was people that I was already enthusiastic to speak to, but also I knew that it was niche enough to have a specific audience, but it was also vague enough that I could take it in the direction that I wanted to take it to. So for example, I mentioned, like branding, marketing, mindset. I can kind of cover all those subjects within my podcast, if that makes sense. But fundamentally, I looked at, what is going to give me the niche audience that I want. I think having a niche audience for a podcast is really important, but it's also broad enough that if I want to, I can bring in different people for different purposes. So that's why. And that's how I sort of picked the one that I wanted. But again, I would base it on what's your expertise and what's your enthusiasm, and also what's your outcome. Always start with the end in mind. What's the outcome for this? Is it to drive business potentially? That will have a sway on which way you go. Is it because you want to build your personal brand? That will have a sway on which way you want to go. So yeah, hope that helps, my friend. Right, we have got any of the other mods or speakers who've got podcasts too.
Oh, sorry, this is Maria. Just super quick. I have a podcast. It's called Overnight Success, and I've done it on the back of my How to Be an Overnight Success book. What I wanted to say is the view that I took, and it goes back to what James said about the energy. I went in with seasons. So I decided I was going to do season 1, which was my longest season, was about 60 episodes. Then during lockdown last year, I did the season 2, which was another 10 episodes. And I launched season 3, social media growth, a few weeks ago, season 3. So it goes back to, if you have an idea and a concept, you can launch a season and brand it and market it, then take a break and go back at it when you feel passionate again. I spoke to people at ACAS who host my podcast, and they said doing seasons is absolutely fine. That's how a lot of people do it, who aren't going to post one podcast per week on an ongoing basis. So that's something you may want to think about. If there's a topic that you're excited about and interested in, do a season, finish the season, and then go back when you have something new to say. This is Maria in the Green Circle, and I'm done speaking.
James, can I ask a question?
Christina. Go on then. Why not, Beju? Just this once.
So, Christina, based on what James said, what would be the subject that you would want to do a podcast on?
Oh, so I really appreciated what Maria and James said, because I do get very, very enthusiastic and I have like high energy, kind of like Richard Simmons on crack. But then I slow down after a while and I get tired and tapered down, and the energy kind of draws out. And then the crowd starts to pick up on it and they start to withdraw. So I really like Maria's advice about doing seasons. I think that I'm very interested in like poverty mindset, like overcoming poverty mindset to abundance mindset, like that transition. But I'm also interested in just like psychology and counseling and, you know, healing and all of that. So those different topics I am interested in. I could see how I could also segment it, like Maria said, so that I could also take breaks in it. So I really appreciate all your advice and tips, and I'm grateful to be able to speak. Thank you so much.
Look forward to it, Christina. So do you know when you're going to start it?
No. You know what? I'm also one of those people that like have all these ideas and I don't know when to actually start it. I will try it, I guess, as soon as I can.
Christina,
As I think of stuff.
Christina, you asked the question because obviously it's important. James gave you some superb advice. So did Maria. You've got nearly 200 odd people in this room. Would you like to say, okay, when would be a date you would like to actually maybe sit down and plan it out? Let's do that instead of the first episode. When would that be?
I don't know. I guess after I kind of like, didn't you guys have to actually like write down an outline of what you guys want to talk about and topics, and also to invite people?
James, what would be her first task to do? Would you suggest?
The first thing that I would make someone like Christina do would be to sit down and again start with the end in mind. What's the outcome of creating a podcast? And then I'd get brainstorming a couple of ideas, list down 5 guests that you'd like to get on, and list down a couple of concepts for names. So you could start that today, couldn't you, Christina, if you wanted to, in theory?
So Christina, you could do that and maybe return next Friday and let us know how you get on. How's that?
Thank you for challenging me like that. I know I would have not really done anything. Thank you so much. I followed all of you guys. Thank you.
Are you going to commit to that?
Yes, I'm going to commit to it by next Friday.
Perfect. See you next Friday. Thank you. Cheers, James.
This is what we call, this is when Beju does his sniper coaching. He just makes people do what he wants them to do, whether they want to do it or not. Good on you, Beju. Fantastic. Paul, over to you.
Yeah, hello, everyone. So it's just 1 minute away from 7:30 a.m. here in the UK. We are coming to you live from our studio in London. If you want to watch the live feed of this show, see our beautiful faces. Beautiful, I don't know, questionable.
Just go with it.
Yeah, you can click on the Winners Club bio, which is the person that's speaking now, top right, and you can go through to the bio and click live video, and you can watch the live video. On that page as well, you can also SMS the studio. So if you're in the audience and you have a question that you might not want to come up and ask it, you can click SMS the studio and send us a message, and it will come up in front of our faces here on the screen, so we can read out your question. You can join the Facebook group, and very important, at the bottom of those links you can click get the book, and you can get John O'Brien's book, who is one of our regular speakers on the stage here, Truth Be Told, and there's a discount code which is truth25, which gets you a 25% discount. We also want you to follow the Winners Club by clicking on the house at the top and join the club, so you can find out when rooms like this go live. Actually, I'll just tell you when they go live. We're live every single morning, 6:30 a.m. through till around about 9:30ish. But if you was with us last Friday, Tim Storey was our version of Elon Musk, and he came into the room, broke the room, and made us stay open for a long time. So if you're with us now this morning, we'll probably still be here at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Hopefully not. But we'll see how Tim gets on. Now, Where are we up to? If you're on the stage and you are a moderator and speaker, Tim is going to be joining us very soon, and we're going to be doing the little speaker shuffle. We're going to be moving people around so that we can get Tim up to the top next to Ashley. Sorry, Jan, no offense, but we're going to bring Tim up to the top and we're going to move people down. So if we move you back down to the audience, we'll bring you straight back up again, and then we'll be moderating everybody as we go to make sure it's all set for when Tim comes on very, very soon. James, that's it. I'm done.
Awesome stuff. Who's excited? Flash your mics, mods and speakers, if you're excited about Tim Storey. Keep flashing your mics if you were here last Friday, and because of that, you're even more excited about this Friday. Yeah, he was a bit mind-blowing, wasn't he? I'd heard him on a few different podcasts and seen him on a few different stages. I thought, oh, this is going to be quite good, but he was absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, and this is another thing that I love about Clubhouse. You know, the whole theory of the 6 degrees of separation. The degrees just keep getting less and less and less. You know, if you'd have said at the beginning of this year, for the majority of us sitting on this stage or listening in the audience, that you'd be able to have almost direct access to a guy like Tim, you'd be like, really? But yeah, so fantastic stuff. Really looking forward to that when he comes in a little while. I'm going to open up. There's a few more people who put their hands up for questions, I believe. So I'm going to bring a couple of those people up. Oh, sorry. Is it Charisse? Charisse? I don't know how to pronounce your name. Charisse, sorry. That makes much more sense. Did you have a question for our panel, my friend?
I do. First of all, I wanted to say that I loved, I think it was Jeanette's question about addressing no's. And I just wanted to share that one thing I do is I feel like there's not one success story. And I don't know if you all hear my husband snoring in the background, but you might hear it.
Oh my God, you actually can hear him snoring. That's unbelievable. That's a first for me on Clubhouse.
We've had a toilet flush this morning.
Toilet flush and a snooze. Great content, you say?
But anyways, there is not one success story that I have heard that was not built on the steps of no's. And so for me, sometimes like I always kind of think about that when reaching for a new goal or whatever new thing I'm trying to do. And so for each no that I get, I try to look at it with excitement, as if I'm one step closer to my yes or one step closer to my goal, because I know that the journey includes no's and rejections. So I just wanted to share that. And then my question, since we were talking about podcasting a moment ago, my question is, what do you think are some of the steps that new podcasters kind of miss? Like we have this idea, we have this expertise, we want to start a podcast, we love speaking, we love asking questions and connecting with people, but we forgot this major part, which makes all the difference when prepping to launch or sustain our podcast. This is Sharice, and that's my question. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Charisse. Yeah, so the main thing that I see podcasters guilty of, and I've launched 132 podcasts for clients across our agency. The main thing when people come to us when they haven't worked with us, they're like, oh, I've launched this podcast, but it's not getting any traction, is because they spend all this time, effort, and energy making this brilliant show. They come up with great concepts, they make amazing artwork, they do have soundscape sounding intros and outros, and they've got great guests on, and they have amazing interviews. And then they just sort of forget to tell people about it. They just don't do the basics of marketing. So things like audiograms, videograms, quote graphics, bespoke URL links for your guests, all that kind of real basic stuff really, really works. I had a conference call yesterday with one of the biggest publishing companies in the UK, definitely, and probably in Europe or the world, actually. And I asked them what they had been doing up until this point, because they wanted to just lump loads of money paid for ads. I was like, you just don't need to do it because you're not doing the basics yet. So yeah, don't forget to market your podcast. You can have the best guests in the world. You can have the best conversations, the best insights, the best wisdom. But if you don't do the basics of marketing and tell people, you will not get people who will tune into your show. And also, as a new podcaster, for the first 56 days, your class is new and noteworthy. So any activity on your account has a lot more impact. So you need to double down on the start part of your show. I've run people through like a 14-day promo process, but you have to market your show, especially at the beginning, because that's when you get the most Google juice and Apple juice. Oh, that's a good term, isn't it? From Apple, and they'll actually help you with the algorithm. So yeah, make sure you hammer MC Hammer quote there. Make sure you hammer the promo, especially in the first couple of weeks of your show. So I hope that helps, my friend.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Can I add a point, James, as well?
Yeah, why not? Go for it.
Hi guys. Yeah, so listen, I've been listening to this, and I was going to jump in on the last podcast question as well. But there's one thing I think that from my experience personally, and also when I work with businesses who are moving into media platforms in general, so not just podcasting, but one thing they don't do enough of, or probably don't do early enough and go deep enough of, is, as what you were saying, James, is the niching. But more importantly, a lot of the framing of the conversation today is about, you know, what have I got a passion in? What am I interested in? How can I do what I want to do? Reframe that and say, what is it that the person that you want to serve really wants? So the success, if I want to say I've had any success with my podcast, it's been because I have one super clear person that I talk to. They've even got a name. I'm not going to mention it because it starts to get a little bit weird. But one super clear person. And every time I record a podcast, every time I do a piece of content, I'm thinking, is this right for that person? Is it going to help that person? And the depth of understanding of that archetype, that avatar, sometimes they're called. You know, I know what car he drives. I know what ice cream he likes. I know what he did last weekend. I know what his 3 a.m. moment is. And because I've got that clarity, every time I put something out there, I know that it's going to work for him. And that's one of the things I think that people don't do enough of when they start any type of podcast or media platform. And the depth of understanding makes the content that you produce better. It's also externally focused. It's not about you. It's about the person you want to serve. And I think those sort of elements make the journey more sustainable as well. So I just wanted to add that. It's probably just an extension of what you were saying, James.
Yeah, that's great advice. So the listener avatar is something that I make people do, and I've got exactly the same thing. And it makes it it sounds a bit like Nick alluded to. It sounds a bit weird when you sort of like make up this random fake person. But ultimately, if that content resonates with that one person, and that's what they always teach in my background is radio and broadcast. They always teach you to speak as if you're talking to one person. And if it resonates with that one person, it will resonate with multiple other people as well. So yeah, thank you for that. Much appreciated. Let's roll on, as Ash would say, let's rock and roll with the next question. So we've got Jafferty, question for you.
Hey, thank you for having me over here. So, this is my first time kind of actually being here. Am I allowed to just ask like any like if I have like a business question? Is it okay if I ask a little question towards that?
Go on, that's exactly what this room is for, my friend. The stage is yours. Ask away.
All right, so my name is Jafeti, and I was born in East Africa in Tanzania. I spent my first 9 years over there, and basically I came here in the U.S. when I was 9 years old. And coming here, I was really put down for where I was coming from, just from like my peers, and like to the point where it got to like where I wanted to lose all trace of my culture and kind of like confine myself into this society. But after doing some research and really just speaking to my parents, like I can like really got back that confidence and was proud to be myself and proud to be proud of my culture. And so my cousin and I started a clothing brand because we kind of went through the same experience called Be Proud. And basically the message behind that clothing brand is to inspire people to be proud of who they are, whether that's their sexuality, their gender identity, their culture, their race, or whatever else society is like labeling you. We want to like take those labels off of people. And my question basically is like, since we're like right now we're like in the pre-launch kind of phase, what are some of the things that we should be doing to make sure once we launch we can be successful in that space?
Sounds like it's an awesome mission you're on with a fantastic vision of why you want to do it. So good luck to you with all of it. Mods, has anyone got any advice that they can give to, how do you pronounce your name again? Is it Jafeti?
Yeah, Jafeti, yeah.
Jafeti. Has anyone got any advice that they can give to Jafeti about the launch process of what he's about to go through, Mods? Give us a flash.
Can we repeat the question, please? This is Maria.
So I was basically, we're in a pre-launch phase, and I was just kind of asking like, what are some of the things that we should be doing, whether it's like marketing or strategies that we can be doing to be building up our audience while we're in that pre-launch phase. So once we do launch, we can see some success going into it.
I can start with that. This is Maria in the Green Circle. You can get the word going on social media. Find some micro influencers, or this could be your friends and family wearing your products, taking pictures and giving you some content, creating some reels for Instagram, and creating some buzz. You can do a giveaway. So for me, Instagram is a great platform to grow, especially a clothing brand. And I would start the marketing yesterday and just do whatever you can. And As I said, I was in a room with Ashley yesterday, and one thing he said, it really stuck with me, that go all the way on whatever you can get for free and with organic ways before you start spending any money. So that's my quick advice for this morning. This is Maria in the Green Circle.
That's great advice. The other thing I'd say, Jaffetti, is I've worked with a lot of brands and businesses. You need to get really, really clear on what your offering is. And the way that you do that is by looking at your core values, your USPs, your mission statement, your ideal buyer profile, your stakeholders. And ultimately, you need to be, at the end of all that process, you need to be within 20 seconds, that sort of like traditional elevator pitch. You need to be able to articulate beautifully well and very quickly what you do, how you do it, and who you do it for. Pop me a DM, because I've got like some brand guidelines stuff that will help you out. It's not like a lead magnet or anything. I'll literally send you, it's a screenshot of some brand guidelines, and it will just help you to get real clarity on exactly that message on core values, USPs, mission statement, because that basic stuff around branding you really need to know at the beginning of your journey.
That's beautiful. I was wondering if you can actually look at my Instagram quick and just see how that's looking. If there's anything that we might be able to like tweak or change.
Yeah, I had to look at it a minute ago, and that's what I'm saying. For me, it's not exactly clear on what you guys do. It's, you know, the shots are well taken, the imagery is well done, the layout of it is quite nicely done and nicely formatted. You know, the color palette and stuff that you've got is really cool. But it's, for me, it's not clear. In fact, actually, one of the guys in the studio said, "What is it that this guy does?" And I said, "I don't know. I think it's fashion." So that's why I'm saying you need to get that extra clarity on exactly what you're doing. Because like I say, you've got an amazing story and an amazing rationale and reason for why you're doing what you're doing. But I'm not sure that it's cutting through and clear enough as to exactly what you do as of yet. But you can see it's very, very new. So again, pop me a DM and I'll send you those brand guidelines. I think that will really, really help you to get you straight on your message before you sort of really start to promote. Because again, to Maria's point a minute ago, to go as far as you can with the organic stuff, especially to start with, before you start lumping money at things. I've seen so many people that have come to me for consultancy. They're like, "Oh, it's not working. I'm going to do some Facebook ads. I'm going to do some Instagram. Should I do some Google?" I'm like, "No, you're not getting anywhere because you're not clear on what your message is. No one knows what you're doing. So don't chuck fuel on a fire that's not yet lit."
This is Maria again. I just visited your Instagram. It looks beautiful. It reminds me of Kanye when he first started with his clothing raids. So cool. The colors are on trend. I love your aesthetic. So you just need to do more of that and just show the products on a one-to-one. Every picture is a product, is one of your pieces. Talk about them, and I would definitely suggest start doing some reels because this is the way right now that the Instagram algorithm is pushing your content to people outside your network, and you can be discovered. Hope that helps. This is Maria in the Green Circle.
That's
James,
great.
it's Alison. Can I jump in?
Yeah, go for it.
So there's a company in the UK called Gymshark. I don't know if you've heard of those.
Oh, yeah.
In the US. Have you heard of Gymshark?
Yeah, I heard of them.
So that was started by a young guy called Ben Francis when he was 19, and he worked part-time. He was at uni, worked part-time at Pizza Hut, delivering pizzas, started Gymshark. And I spoke at an event with the CEO of Gymshark a couple of years ago, and exactly what James was saying. Like, I had never seen such clarity on who their ideal customer is. And they had a male customer, a female customer, but they also had who wasn't their customer. So Gymshark have got a cut-off policy that they do not want anybody over the age of 25 wearing their clothes. And that included the CEO and the CFO. So I think, again, it's okay to be so niche in there that you know who doesn't want to wear your clothes. But if you look at like Gymshark, that was grown organically just from Ben Shark having an idea. So, you know, don't stop dreaming, just keep going for it. It's really possible. And the Gymshark story, I would really dive into what Ben Francis did because it'll give you some ideas on what you can do. This is Alison Edgar.
Awesome advice. Thank you, Alison. Go on, Karen.
Karen speaking. Hey, good morning, boy. How are you guys doing today? All right, I'm losing my voice, but I had to jump in here. I just love your mission. Your why is just so clear. And again, your Instagram is looking amazing, and follow everything. And when he sends that to you, you really study it like the Bible, right? So you understand exactly what he's saying about your branding because you're onto something really, really special, especially for your generation. You're going to change things. And I think when you do your reels, you need to speak to your why. Speak to it. Like, you know, talk about the fact that, you know, you live in America and they didn't accept you for who you are. And make that messaging be clear across all genders, everything, right? And that is going to resonate so well on Instagram and TikTok. I'm going to follow you because I cannot wait to see what you're going to do. This is Karen. I'm done speaking.
Awesome
Thank you,
stuff.
guys.
Some great advice there. And as I say, I'll pop you across those brand guidelines, and hopefully that will really help you. But I think also just get to Clubhouse rooms, man, and share your mission and vision, because obviously everyone's bought into it this morning. It sounds like you're up to some very, very big stuff in the world, and we wish you very, very well with it. And if any of our mods and our speakers can assist, we definitely will, because we're a big family and a community, an international community in this room. I'm going to pass now over to Ashley, because we have got some exciting stuff that's coming up for the rest of this morning. Ash, over to you, mate.
Perfect. So thank you, guys. So we do know we have Tim Storey in the house. He will be here within the house within the next 15 minutes. So what I like to do is change the stage, just so we can respect the time of Tim coming into the room, sharing with us today. And last week was phenomenal. So guys, what I would highly suggest you do, the quicker you move down to the audience, the quicker I can move you back up. And yeah, and what I'll do, I'll remod you. Anyone who wants to stay around while we're doing that, you're more than welcome to come up onto stage. So what I'm going to do, if you could just bear with me just while I organize the stage, just so we can yeah, respect Tim's time and enjoy the show today. So guys, while I do that, I'm going to be passing over the mic back to James. James, are you there to carry on the questions?
Yes, I am. This is like a live radio broadcast, isn't it? This is very exciting. Back to you in the studio.
Anyone there got a question that they want to fire away with?
Yeah, flash your mics, mods, and speakers if you're on the
Anyone in the
stage.
house?
If you've got
Ian,
a
do you have
question.
another question for the panel?
Yes, please, if I may. I asked the question earlier on, do I have a question? I didn't have one that came into my head. Just went around being here and I came into my head. I know that I procrastinate and that's my biggest weakness. What would the panel say to somebody that overthinks and procrastinates and to stop from doing it?
So panel, do you want to take this just while I organise the panel stage?
This is Charisse, and just really quickly, quick and easy, something that I love by and live by is progress is better than perfection. This is Charisse, and I'm done speaking.
Oh, love that. Good advice there. Progress is better than perfection. How good is that? Anyone else got a quote? Not a quote. Anyone else got a question for our lovely panel before we kick on with today's main event? Just to quickly reset the room. Guys, I don't want to get you too excited, but we are in the presence of greatness right now. The one and only Tim Storey is in the building. We are going to be hearing from Tim in a very short period of time. He is one, if you've not heard of Tim before, or if you've not seen a lot of Tim's content, he is one of the best storytellers I've ever heard in my entire life. His ability to weave stories and to take you on an emotional journey with his words is second to none. There's a lot of good speakers out there, but this guy is absolutely phenomenal. So that's enough for me sort of bigging up Tim. He doesn't need any more bigging up, does he, quite frankly? Anyone else got any questions or queries before we bring people back up to the stage? Anybody got any questions or queries?
This is Jewel. I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so I'm curious, what has been your biggest learnings in how to run your rooms, and what has changed since you've started on Clubhouse? This is Jewel. I'm done speaking.
Oh, great question. I'm sure there's lots of people who can share that. Mods and speakers, flash your mic if you've got a top tip or learning or lesson that you'd like to share about how you've developed your creation of your Clubhouse rooms or your clubs. Anyone got anything they'd like to share on that? Well, everyone's got a bit nervous, haven't they? Everyone's got stage fright because Tim Storey said, "Don't worry, he's not going to bite. He's a lovely man. Don't worry." Oh, Victoria's there. Good old Victoria. She's always willing to chime in. Go on, Victoria. What you got?
I've always got something to say. I do try not to talk too much, otherwise people probably get a bit bored of my voice. But I think something that I've learned is adaptability and being able to adapt to the people that are coming up on the stage. And as a host, as a moderator, as a speaker, we have to realize that there's everyone that comes in onto your stage is everyone's going to have a different personality. They're going to have a different view, a different opinion. So really being able to adapt to the circumstances and then the situations that are arising literally every few minutes is really important, because otherwise it can get completely out of hand. And also realizing that if you're the host of a room, it's your room. It's like it's your house. So right now with the Winners Club, and this is kind of Ashley's house, so we have to respect him and respect the rules of the house and respect the rules of the club, but realizing that you're able to leave at any time. And if you find yourself in a room, so if you're an audience member and you find yourself somewhere where it doesn't really align with you and you don't really feel comfortable, you can just leave very quietly. You don't have to stay there. So kind of on both sides of the coin, just as a host being able to adapt to the room so that you can manage it effectively, but then as an audience member also realizing that you're also in control with where you find yourself on Clubhouse. So I hope that answered the question.
Awesome stuff. One of the things that Ash, have you got something to say, mate?
Yeah, I just want to let everyone know, just if you just bear with me for the next 10 to 15 minutes, anyone that's normal mod, I will be modding you, just organising the panel just before we start a Q&A with the one and only Tim Storey. So just bear with me. I will be modding the people that are normally mods. Just need to make sure I organise the stage. And this time round, guys, this is for the panel. This is for the audience to have the opportunity to come and ask Tim a question. So this time round, if you just bear with me for the next 10 to 15 minutes, when it gets off on the road and we're rocking and rolling, then I will be bringing people up from the audience to ask Tim a question. This is part 2. It got very busy last week. So what I want to say is that if your hand is raised, I can see that, and I will be bringing you up further down the line, and I will be working my way down the panel to ask Tim a question. So back to you there, James.
Awesome stuff. The other thing that I'd give as a bit of advice there about Clubhouse moving forwards is to make sure that we can hear everyone in the studio, guys. Sorry, everyone's got a bit crazy. Tim Storey turns up and the wheels are falling off everybody. We've got overhyped. So one of the main things that I'd say about growing your Clubhouse following is going to be to try and find a little gang of like-minded people who can help you on your journey and to help support you moving forwards. You might notice, that Ashley obviously set up the Winners Club 12 weeks ago, but there's a lot of people who are sort of pulling strings alongside him behind the scenes. We've got people who will jump into rooms with each other. We will help out. We'll jump on as speakers. We'll go through the audience and find great people and bring great people up. We hope to take over. Everyone's busy. Everyone's got a life. You can't just literally sit on Clubhouse for 18 hours a day. You've got client calls or whatever, work and family commitment. So we'll sort of take each other over each other's rooms. So finding a little gang of people, and maybe it could be as simple as, getting 5 people into a WhatsApp group and saying, hey, I'm going to do a room on a Monday. You've got one on a Tuesday. You've got one on a Wednesday. You've got one Thursday. You've got one Friday. Let's all support each other's rooms. If you need to take a break or for whatever reason, one of us can jump in over the top of it, and just getting a little gang of people who are on the same, on the same page, aligned with the same mission and vision, etc. Getting you guys together and just helping support each other with their rooms. I think that's really, really beneficial. Other mods and speakers, anyone else got any other top tips on Clubhouse growth? I think it's a really useful. Lucy N's flashing like a wild woman. Go for it, Lucy N.
I love that. Yes, collaboration. That's what I was gonna say. The collaborative aspect. I think because it's so new, you need to be building a community of people who are all supporting one another and showing up when you say you're going to show up. So it's not just about the rooms you host, but it's also about the rooms that you turn up to and that you support and the people that you bring along to that as well. So my top tip is absolutely collaboration is key. Really supporting those people who you think have got something amazing to share with others, and they will support you back. That would be my top tip. Thanks, James.
Awesome tip. There was somebody else who was flashing as well. Who else was flashing with some advice? Oh, Susan's flashing. Susan, over to you. What you got to say about Clubhouse growth?
Yeah, thank you, James. I've been flashing like a crazy woman. I would say for me lately, what I've realized is for full inclusion. So I think it's really easy when we do our rooms to we just look at our screen and we focus on everyone that's surrounding us at that one time. And so what I've been really trying to do is just to kind of create rooms whereby it is people can come up more. And I hate even that word, come up. It's like we're on stage and you're all watching us, but the whole purpose of Clubhouse is to have one, this big community room. So I realize with big rooms, it's much more difficult. But I think for anyone that is looking to start a room, try not to make it too much about who's on the stage at that current time, and make sure that you're consistently going through the audience, encouraging people to come up, looking who they are, and the speakers on your stage, get them to go and look at who's on there, get them to follow people, because I feel like now lots of us got in so early, it's going to be much more difficult for the new ones to, you know, create a big following. So for me, I think the more inclusive you are, the more it comes back at you tenfold, and you attract the correct energy, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Sorry, I was agreeing there, but I pressed the wrong button. Yeah, absolutely, completely agree. I think, like I say, that it's very easy. It has become very easy for people to just sort of put themselves at the top of the ivory tower and just sort of talk down at the audience. But actually, this is what's, I think, the beauty of the Winners Club as a group and this room as a collective has become, because it's like a little family, a little community of people who are all trying to help each other out. All boats rise in a high tide, as they say. We are just a couple of minutes before 8 o'clock, and at 8 o'clock, something very exciting is happening. Is that exciting that I'm going to tell you what's happening right now? At 8 a.m. UK time, the one and only Tim Storey is in the building. If you're wondering who Tim Storey is, he's an acclaimed author, speaker, and life coach. He's well known for inspiring and motivating people from all walks of life, from entertainment to executives, celebrities and athletes, to adults and children in the most deprived neighborhoods in the country. Tim has visited 75 countries and he has spoken to millions of people. He often meets privately and counsels high-profile leaders in various industries. I didn't get all of his bio out in the 30 seconds I'd allotted myself with some music, so I'm going to play the music again. Don't worry, nobody noticed that fail there. But Tim Storey is he's the go-to guy. He's a big deal. He's one of the world's leading life coaches. Ordinarily, you know, consultancy, getting the opportunity to get up close and personal with him would cost you a load of dough, and you probably wouldn't be able to do it, quite frankly, but he's here with us at 8 a.m. this morning on the Winners Club. There we go. Nailed it second time round. Very excited, genuinely very excited. I heard Tim last week, and as we've said a lot of times, we're we're quite strict here on the Winners Club. We're a warm family in a community, but we're quite strict. We always like to finish by 9:30, 10 o'clock at the latest. But the room absolutely blew up beyond belief last week. And Tim was very, very generous with his time, because it was, you know, like 10:30, 10:45 in the UK for us. But it was like literally the middle of the night, like 3 a.m. or something like that for Tim. So we're mega appreciative. If you're excited, mods and speakers, if you're excited about Tim on the show, give us a flash of your mic. Let's see if we can light up like a Christmas tree. Yes, everybody's excited. Tim has also just released a brand new book as well. And who got the book last week? I know loads and loads of people downloaded it, because we had a link and all that sort of stuff in the back, and yeah, loads of people flashing the mics. That's awesome stuff. Well, fantastic. Well, when Tim's on, put the book down, and then when he's finished, pick it straight back up again. Paul, over to you.
Yes, so just to do a quick room reset whilst we have you all here. So this, on a Friday, we have a live stream from our studio. So James, Ashley and I'm Paul with the blue background. James is at the top right next to Tim with the questionably salmon pink jumper, I think is how he describes it, and Ashley to the left. We are all coming through the audio on the Winners Club, which is the black icon, which is our studio feed. So if you want to watch Ashley asking the questions and speaking to Tim live, and Tim's not on the video feed, Tim's just in the Clubhouse room, but Ashley asking the questions is live on the video feed. So if you click on the Winners Club, go through to the bio, you see a button there that says live video, click on that and you will see the feed. And also button number 2 on that link is get the book, and that will take you through to Tim's book so that you can buy Tim's book if you didn't already do it last week. I think that's about it. Please follow the Winners Club. There is quite a few of us in the room now. We're over 300 people in the room, and it's about that time. It's just approaching 8 o'clock. And Ashley Shipman, are you there? Over to you.
I'm here, guys. So yeah, thank you very much for everyone being here, guys. Just to let you know, before we start with Tim, just to let you know, if you want to SMS in, we can give you a shout out. Now, this interview is for the panel. This is for the audience to have the chance to speak to Tim, as last week was very busy. So he's kindly offered part 2. So here's your opportunity to come up on stage. I do see your hand raised. And also another thing is that if you just bear with me of previous mods that were here, I will be working through the show when we pass it to the audience and to the panel to be asking Tim some questions. So what I'd like to do for anyone new that is in the room today is hand the mic over to Tim. And before I do that, say thank you. And guys, this part will be recorded more for the fact of snippets for the Winners Club highlights of the week. So if you are uncomfortable, then you don't have to speak. But it's more for me to grab some snippets. So no worries. Guys, it has just gone past 8 o'clock and Tim is in the house. Tim, welcome to the stage. And to save me missing anything there, could we have a nice intro? And thank you for being here.
What a privilege. I think that last week was so good. And one of the things I was thinking, Ashley, is that I like to talk about this thing called the law of the harvest. You have to plow the ground, you plant the seed, you water the seed, and you reap the harvest. And so many people are so close to harvesting the best life they've ever had. And that's one reason we're doing part 2, because we're going to help them to reap their harvest tonight.
Well, thank you very much. And Tim is here. He's a man of his word. Now, I would like to fire off a question. And then what we're going to be doing is working our way down the panel. So if you just flash your mics, it will be great. And then this is the opportunity where if you didn't get to ask Tim a question, then here is your opportunity. And audience, I will be bringing people up on stage. Please make sure your mic is muted when you come up onto stage. Tim has kindly gave us part 2 to make sure that we serve on a higher level. So first things first, I want to ask Tim a question. Now, Tim, you deal with higher level executives, higher level performers. What would you say the number one issue that comes to you that you have to handle? Because from the outside, people see the people you work with and they see the iceberg effect of the success. What is the number one issue that you have to solve for these high level athletes, executives, A-lists? What is the number one?
I would say that, to get to a certain level, as everybody knows that's listening, you have to become uncommon. So uncommon means not regular, not normal, not regular. And so many times when you have uncommon plans and you have the right uncommon partners, uncommon discipline, is that a lot of people, they lack uncommon resilience. And I think people almost forget that part. Maybe you have the right uncommon plans, uncommon partners, uncommon discipline, but you're going to get hit, and you're going to get hit in so many things in life. And I find that a lot of people very, very fast, but they don't many times have the resilience to keep on keeping on.
So you're putting it down to resilience, and that's a big thing that I feel that entrepreneurs have to go through, or high performers, is, as they say, I think it was in the Rocky movie, it's not how hard you hit, it's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. So look, I'm not going to hog the stage today. This is the opportunity for everyone here to ask Tim some questions, get some words of wisdom, and really take away some actionable steps as he is at the top of his craft. But I'm going to fire around. We're going to go James, then Paul, and then we're going to be going all through the audience, whoever want to ask a question. But I'm going to pass it over to James. James, are you there, my friend?
I am indeed. Thank you very much, Ash. And Tim, thank you so much for your time. I listened in intently last week and I absolutely loved the conversation. I was like, oh, what a shame we didn't have more time. And then when you were like, oh, come on, I'll just do it, come back and do it again, I couldn't believe it. So thank you for the generosity of your time. We genuinely really appreciate it. I was listening on the way into the studio this morning. I was listening to I think it was you appearing on stage at Oprah's Super Soul Sunday, and you were talking about comebacks, and you said how a setback is a setup for a comeback. And I was like, oh, this is just so good. And the way that you talk, the way that you weave a story, the way that you narrate, the way that you speak with such beautiful, eloquent language that takes people on a journey, even if they can't see you, can't see your body language, is second to none. Frankly, I've never heard anything like it. When you're working on a speech that, like the comeback story, how do you create that kind of thing? Do you put it on paper? Do you come up with the concept of it? Do you actually write it down? Do you rehearse it? Do you practice it? Or does it come to you naturally? Because I know that amongst other things, you sort of you speak on stages around the world. Does it flow through you? Is it like a religious experience, or is it crafted before you get onto a stage to tell a tale like that, or do you kind of wing it? I want to be 1/10 of the man that you are on the stage, Tim, quite frankly. So any advice you can give me would be great. Thank you.
Number one, you're a great communicator already. And I like your accent. You have that accent and I don't. So that particular speech that you heard, that was at UCLA, what they call Royce Hall. And it was Deepak Chopra, myself, Brene Brown, Elizabeth Gilbert from Eat, Pray, Love, and Iyanla Van Zant, Marianne Williamson. So, the place was stacked with good speaker after good speaker. So I will tell you that if I'm going to do a 30-minute speech, I put in 10 hours of research and study for a 30-minute speech. And I want that speech to be so in me that it literally comes out of my pores. So think about that. I got 10 hours of research, but I got 30 minutes to deliver it. So that's why you feel it literally coming out of my pores. And that's what many people say after I will leave a stage. They say, like, what the heck just happened? I just had some kind of experience, because it's coming out of me. So here's what I say. I say impartation. So that's me getting the information in me. Incubation, which is the maturing of the material. And manifestation is what I do on stage.
Wow, beautiful answer, and I would have expected nothing less. Thank you very much. That makes a lot of sense. Do you have it just to sort of from a tactical point of view? Do you have it memorized, or do you kind of have like bullet points or roadmaps of where you're going to take the conversation, and it kind of flows through you? So is it like a speech that you've learnt verbatim?
Well, I think that the thing that I've had the unfair advantage on other speakers is I've been trained by the best actors in the world. So from the early days on, as we talked about last week, I was around people like Charlton Heston, Tony Curtis, Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon. And then could you imagine being on the set all the time with Robert Downey Jr.? You learn a little bit about acting. And so I would see how they would memorize their lines and then do that very thing. They would then let those lines seep out of them. So I think a lot of it is from also things that I learned from some really, really good performers, including not just actors, but also comedians. I think some of the comedians are the best speakers.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Tim. I really appreciate it. I won't hog any more of your time, although I could talk to you all day if I was allowed, but I'm definitely not allowed. Paul, over to you.
Yeah, hi Tim. Sorry, look, if you're slightly confused by who's speaking, we're all sitting in a studio together, so we're coming through the Winners Club icon. But I'm Paul with the blue background on the third line. Tim, there's lots of people in this audience, lots of the speakers up here on the stage that are on a similar path to what you've been on, i.e. they're going on that expert journey. They're trying to get a place in the market for them as a coach, as a mentor for people. And they're on a very similar path to the one that you've already taken. What words of advice would you give to all of us that are doing that journey? Because you've been doing that for many, many years. You're one of the original guys that started that movement, I guess. So what words of advice would you give to all of us that are on that journey and on that path?
Okay, number one, great question. I think that you have to build your spot, and then life puts the spotlight on your spot. We talked about that a little bit, but I could elaborate more this week on that. And then what I did is I started studying this idea of the comeback. And I talked about how people have momentum and then they have a life interruption. And then, like, what happens? And, U2 has this song, You Got Stuck in a Moment and You Can't Get Out of it. So I started really working hard on, like, how does somebody turn their setback to a comeback? And then I thought, okay, people sit in a setback, people settle in a setback, some people cement themselves in a setback. How do they have a comeback? And I put so much time into that that I became really a professional, a pro, a master at untying a knot. And I want you all to think about this for a second. If you've ever had a knot in your tennis shoe, okay, as we would say in America, tennis shoe. I don't know what you guys call it, but if you would get a knot in your shoelace in your tennis shoe, it's not easy to untie. But I became a master in untying a knot. So when somebody got a knot in their life in the entertainment business, they came looking for Tim Storey. So I'm not great at everything, but I'm a master of turning the setback to a comeback. So build your spot, and life will put the spotlight on your spot.
That's real, bro.
Thanks, Tim.
So perfect. So guys, as we know, we had Tim Storey here last week. What I want to do is say thank you for your time again, and we will now be passing over questions to the panel, then to the audience. So I can see the hands are raised. I will be bringing you up within the next 10 to 15 minutes to make sure you can ask Tim a question. So just to let you know, if you want to go and purchase his book, it is in my link tree. It's in the Winners Club link tree. It's a phenomenal book. Can I see a flash of Mike's who has got the book just so I can see? Perfect. It's lighting up like a Christmas tree. So I will be working my way down the panel. Tim has kindly come round for part 2 to give the opportunity for more people to ask him a question. So I will be working my way down the panel. As I will be doing that, I will be reorganizing just the mods that have came back up just to make sure that we're all nice and clean and structured. So if I move you down, bring you back up, it's just quickly movement just to make sure that we keep everything on flow. So if you want to ask Tim a question, please flash your mics. This is so Victoria, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good morning, Tim. Lovely to have you back with us, and what an inspiration and motivation. And last week we spoke a lot about superpowers and limiting beliefs, and I think that's something that is spoken about a lot on Clubhouse, especially in our show. So for anyone that maybe missed last week's show as well, what piece of advice would you give to someone that really cannot seem to get over those limiting beliefs they have in order to find their own superpower?
I think one of the things is to tap back into our childhood, into our innocence. And as I've done research with a lot of psychologists, we find that, when we were children, there was an innocence about us. If you were to go with me to a third world nation, as I speak to 6 and 7-year-olds, and I said, what would you want to do when you get older? Kids say, an astronaut, a princess, I want to be the president. And so it's really going back to that place of innocence. And you say, well, how do I do that, Tim Storey? I think many times we trigger ourselves. We're so used to being triggered to the negative, like an old song will trigger you into the negative of a bad relationship, or maybe you go into a restaurant and you're struggling with alcoholism and you get triggered because you see a bar, but you could be triggered back into places of innocence. And one way that I do that, I trigger myself through music, because as a little kid, I was raised around Motown music, Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, Diana Ross and Supremes. So we can trigger ourselves back into the place of innocence when you are thinking magical thoughts. So trigger yourself back into the place of innocence.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. So let's take a flash of mics. We're going to keep it nice and brief and straight into it. We're going to be working our way down the panel to save your thumbs going mad to ask him a question. Just sort of see where we are on the panel, and we'll be working our way down. So, Liza with the 2 Z's.
Hey, Ash, thanks. Hey, Tim. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes earlier this week. I actually have a question that's inspired from that, from people that were here with us last week and heard your words that said, okay, what do we do after you've had a great day? You started with the miracle mindset, but how do you bring that into your night routine? And I thought, you know what, that's such a great question. I'm like, let's ask Tim. So, Tim, with your nightly routine, how do you continue to bring that miracle mindset as you're winding down, reflecting on the day and prepping for the next? This is Liza with 2 Z's, please. Thanks for letting me ask.
Liza, happy birthday month. If I was you, I would just let this thing just roll through the whole month. I think, guys, for me, for real, a miracle mentality is just that. Miracle is something supernatural, extraordinary, uncommon, not normal. Mentality is a mindset, a frame of mind. So mind is not based on emotion, and mind is not based on it has to escalate and go higher, 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 then I fall asleep. It is a state of mind and a state of readiness. I want you to hear that. That's pretty dang powerful. I'm in a state of readiness. So whether it's 11 in the morning or 1 in the afternoon or 3 in the afternoon or freaking 12 midnight, I'm in a state of readiness. So my mind is set on a certain station that I can explode and move in power and passion literally at any time. So it's a mindset. I am set in that special position.
Thanks, Tim.
Fantastic, fantastic answers there. So, guys, I will be flashing the mics as we work our way down. Just to remind everyone, if you would like to go and grab Tim's book, it is in my link tree. Also, what I like to do is show some Clubhouse currency. Now, the way to show some Clubhouse currency is to give Tim a follow. He is on the top line in the middle. Go and give him a follow. Show some love. Put the bell notification on so you are notified when he is speaking in other rooms. Also, another thing to do is just to screenshot, add it to your story and put a thank you message. Tim does see them stories that come through. So if you want to give some appreciation, some Clubhouse currency, the way forward is to go and give him a follow and screenshot and say a thank you message if he is giving you an impact today. So flash your mics, guys. Who wants to ask Tim a question? Jan, and then we go to Diamond. So Jan.
Hi, Tim. Last week it was great. I really enjoyed it. And you talk about we are becoming what we do regularly. So I'll be very much, Tim, interested in your daily routines, kind of the winning daily routines. And what are the daily routines of the other people you coach and mentor? Thanks. This is San. I'm done.
Good hearing your voice. Again, I think it's everything about being uncommon, not regular. And so I wake up at 5 in the morning every morning, habitually. And then I move into a time of meditation where I just clear my mind. And then I move into a time where I feed my mind on the right things, whether it's things I'm reading or a book on tape. And then I just begin to project and I begin to see those things that have not occurred yet, but I see them coming. I meditate on them. I see them taking place. And then because of the pressure that I'm under in life, I have to exercise. So I don't exercise just to be in shape. That's part of it. But to be honest with you, I need it just to stay on top. So I like to exercise. I then shower, and then I move into my day of serving people. That's what I am. I'm a servant to people, whether I'm life coaching, doing my humanitarian work, or running my business. It's all about servanthood. But first, I got to go into that quiet place, fully present, fully feeling, fully alive, and then I try to download great ideas that will take me throughout the day.
Thanks so much, Tim. That was great.
Fantastic. So we go back on to Diamond. Diamond, are you there?
This is Diamond, and I'm here. So excited to be on the stage with Tim. You're absolutely amazing. And I love what you said in your opening statement today about harvest. I feel like we're definitely in the season of harvest. I feel it. I'm so excited. And my question is about the planting the seed process, watering those seeds so we can grow the harvest. So what are some best practices when we're planting the seeds and we're going through that process so we can reap our harvest? This is Diamond, and that is my question.
Diamond, you have great energy. Every day, I think we have like 2 bags of seed, the positive side of ourselves and the not so positive. And I never base myself based on how I feel, what my mood is. I'm planting positive seed it doesn't matter how I feel. So positive seed to me is positive words. It's also positive actions. It's a positive mindset. It's a positive mood set. And whether you just go to get gasoline and you run into somebody, be positive to them. If you went to a Starbucks, be positive to them, because what's going to happen is that you reap what you sow. So think about it, is that where we are today is based on the decisions we've made in the past. And my quote is, today's decisions are tomorrow's realities. So I want to plow the ground each day. The Ross song, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling. So every day I'm hustling. So I'm plowing, 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 planting, 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 but I'm planting positive seeds, watering, 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 which is repetition. And then don't get so plow minded that you forget you're going to reap a harvest. Some of you are in the middle of a harvest right now, but you're so plow minded, you're not even realizing there are miracles right underneath your feet.
Tim, could you just repeat that quote? Because I missed it and I'm trying to write it down because I think it's incredible. Today's decisions are tomorrow's realities.
Today's decisions are tomorrow's realities. And like, for instance, when I first started life coaching people, let's say in Beverly Hills, that was in 1990. It's a long time ago, guys. And what would take place is a lot of these older famous guys would ask me to either work with their brother or with their agent or a relative. And on purpose, this is a true story, I would not charge them. People would always say to me, like, do you know how wealthy that guy is? You should charge him. And something in my soul just said, just do it because you care. And these guys were blown away because most people were always wanting something from them. But over a period of time, it's amazing that the decisions that I made became the realities of tomorrow. Today's decisions are tomorrow's realities, because those same men that I sowed seed into by helping their family member or friend or maybe their manager or agent for gratis, for free, I mean, they literally opened the whole city to me. I never even thought about that, but that's just what happened. You reap what you sow. Today's decisions are tomorrow's realities.
Love that.
I'm absolutely blown away. I love it so much. Today's decisions are tomorrow's realities. Love it so much, Tim. You're absolutely amazing. This is Diamond, and I am complete.
Fantastic. So I will be now moving down the panel. I will be organising the mods as well, which were mods before, so because I do see the commitment you make to this community. But while we do that, Monique, what is your question to Tim?
Thank you so much. Hi, Tim. So my question, I know it's important that we process our failures, learn, overcome adversity. But my question is, do you believe that there are some failures that are okay never to think about again? Or should we always look at each and every single failure, no matter how small it is, as if we're keeping scores? I just wanted to learn your thoughts around that. Thank you so much. Monique, finish speaking.
I think that when you have a setback, there are a series of steps you have to take, Monique. Number one, you have to become awake. And many times when someone has a setback, we want to just stay asleep, and we just want to just kind of sleep through the failure, whether it's a broken relationship or an illness that you're facing. So number one, you become awake. And so secondly, you have to take inventory. So there's no way around it. You have to take inventory, and at least for a period of time, you got to say, okay, what happened, what took place, and what can I learn from this? So number one, you become awake. Number two, you take inventory. But number three, you got to partner with power. Get around people that are stronger than you are in the state that you're in currently. You got to partner with power. Then you got to go back to the right principles, and then you got to make a new plan. But you do have to take inventory, but you do not stay stuck. So I like to say this statement: why are you talking about my then when I'm living in my now? So why are you talking about my then when I'm living in my now? Don't let somebody talk about your then when you're living in your now. The past is the past.
Wow, I love that. I'm sitting here that's learning loads. James is literally scribbling so fast down on a bit of paper, taking the words of wisdom from Tim. So what I want to do is say, I've got to say it again, thank you very much. And let's show some Clubhouse currency to Tim. Go give him a follow. If you would like to purchase his book, it will be in my link tree. So go over to the link tree and you will see that. And also give it a screenshot so we can show some love to Tim for our Instagram stories. And yeah, I'm sure that if you do tag the moderators, the speakers in the panel, I'm sure they will retweet it. So let's move down. So Beiju, are you there, my friend?
Yes, morning, Ashley. Morning, Tim. So good to listen to you again. I loved your contribution last week. Tim, my question is this, we get a lot of questions within Clubhouse. I get asked and other people get asked as well about imposter syndrome. Does it exist? And if it does, how do you actually deal with it? And what's your take on the phenomena of imposter syndrome?
You mean as far as somebody acting like somebody else? Can you help me with that?
No, in terms of somebody who don't believe themselves, do I really belong here? People think I'm great, but am I ready? I feel like an imposter, but they have a gift, but they just feel that, is it my time to turn up? Do I need more information? Do I need to learn more? And they don't believe in themselves in that context.
I think that it's an interesting thing that I did this survey of asking famous people that when they were really at the top of what they were doing, did they feel like they were really prepared? And then I also asked them an interesting thing. I said, did you ever feel like you sucked in areas of your life while you were a star at that time? And 20 out of 20 said, to be honest with you, I felt like I sucked at the very same time. So it's an amazing thing that maybe someone could be a phenomenal singer, but maybe they weren't a phenomenal parent, or they were a phenomenal actor, but they were fighting some form of challenge or addiction. So I think that we always feel slightly undone, and we're going through recovery and discovery at the same time. And so I think that is just something that we will always face and feel is slightly undone.
But Tim, can I just follow on that? Have you ever felt like, am I really ready? Have I got this?
I feel like I'm playing so far over my head. It's pretty outrageous, to be honest with you. And so for a guy like me, I'm from Compton, California, 7 people in a 2-bedroom apartment. My mother had a 6th grade education. My father, 10th grade education. My father goes to get my mother food, takeout when I'm 10 years of age. He's going through a green light. Man runs a red light, hits him in his car, and he dies. And so I am playing so far over my head. And I think that without the right support system, that I probably wouldn't do as well as I'm doing. So I feel undone at times. There's times that I feel like I'm not the highest in the room because I'm playing with guys that, just are playing at such a crazy level. And the types of people that come to see me speak, I will not name drop them right now, but it blows me away when I see that guy that we all like walk to the front and sit in the center in the first row to watch Tim Storey speak. I'm very blown away by it. And I realized that at that time that I need almost supernatural help, and also the aid of great partners to help me get through the process.
Tim, thank you so much. That you turning up is our gift. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ashley.
No worries, no worries. So, guys, also, I always like to support anyone here with Tim Storey's new book, The Miracle Mentality. If you want to change your picture, come up onto stage and support to show. So it's his new book. what I would suggest you do, you can download the first chapter for free. Go to the link tree of the Winners Club and you will see a link. Go down and download the first chapter, purchase the book, do what you need to do. But it's a must that I feel you should go do. At least go and read the first chapter. It will blow your mind. I've downloaded the first chapter last week. So you need to make sure that you go do that as well. Go to my link tree, either in mine, the Winners Club, Paul, James. Go there and it will send you straight to the link to go download the first chapter or purchase the book. So, guys, what I want to do is see some support to Tim. His new book cover, The Miracle Mentality. If we could see some support in the changing of the profile pictures, that would be great. And I will just bring you up on stage just to chill out and get to share the stage with Tim. So let's work our way down the panel. So, Lucienne, are you there?
I am indeed, Ash. Thank you so much. Tim, what an honour to have you here again. And I've been listening with shivers down my spine and my hair stood on end when you were talking about innocence and the essence of being a child and stepping back into that space. I feel like I'm in a period of transition myself at the moment of breaking free. And I discovered this week that I needed to sit with my 7-year-old self, which is why your words really, really made some special connections. I wanted to ask you about your essence. I wanted to ask about, following all the adversity that you've experienced in your childhood days, which you describe so eloquently. How would you describe your essence if you were to take that adversity away? I'd love to hear more of what 7-year-old, 6-year-old Tim was like. Thank you. That's my question.
Thanks for asking, and I can tell you care about me, so thank you for that. I think that, the reality is in my DNA. It's like Kendrick Lamar, his song. I felt like I had royalty in my DNA, and even though we were lower income, I remember my mother always used to say, "We're not lower class, but at this point we're lower income." At least she was honest about it. But I felt really superific. I felt that I could do things and things were going to happen. And I remember going to Disneyland at age 7 and I saw this world that I'd never seen before. I mean, these rides and these streets so clean and Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse. And I just knew that I knew that I knew that I knew that I could. And we all grow through 3 things. Number 1, education. Number 2, conversation. And number 3, observation. And the more I became educated and started to read about other people that had dynamic lives, I mean, I'm talking about at a young age, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade in America, and began to educate myself. And the more conversations I had with people that were living better lives than what we were, and the more I observed, I knew I could. And I remember Oprah was asking me one time in her backyard, she said, "At what point did you know you were Tim Storey?" And she was very emotional when she asked me. And I said, "When I was 10 years of age, man, I knew that I was born to bring impact." And you know it too. Every one of you that's listening, you know that you were born to bring impact.
Wow.
Wow. Thank you.
Fantastic. Right, so I will be bringing up some people onto stage very, very soon. Just going to be flying through the panel. Guys, let's show some support to Tim. Charisse, I see your picture there. I will be looking for the people showing support. I will bring you up on stage when I see the support that's being shown, because to get Tim in the house this morning is not light work. I promise you that now. To get him to his diary and for him to commit part 2 to come to this room is a lot. So let's just see some support. And let's move forward. So, Susan, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Ashley. Oh, hi, Tim. Thank you so much. So glad you've come back, because there were so many questions. So I'm so thankful that you've come back. My question is around manifesting. So I've been talking so much this week about what it means, how to do it even. And so for children, for example, I've got 3 daughters. So I've always encouraged it in the way of daydreaming. As a kid, how many times people go, "Oh, their head's in the clouds, they're a daydreamer." And I'm like, good, that's amazing. Because I know that by them daydreaming, inverted commas, they're actually manifesting, because like you said, as kids, we really feel when we see ourselves in that position. But my question is, how do I best explain it? Because I know you'd be able to explain it so much better to a lot of adults that are around me in my life now. I kind of want to make it a mission to get the impact that manifesting is everything. You really need to see it, feel it, believe it. So if an adult who doesn't really believe in manifesting comes to me and says, how do I start? Like, this is what I want to do. This is my dream, whatever it is, whether it's materialistic or something in life. How do I begin to try and manifest that? What's like the first thing that I should be saying to them? I hope that makes sense.
It does, and you're a very good communicator. So I want you guys to really get this, because number one, I'm not good at many things. Like, I'm an okay cook. Don't try to get me to fix your car. But in this space, you got to understand, this is where I've spent my life, trying to understand the space and understanding it pretty well by being around some smart people. Number one, here's how you manifest. The word manifest means to make clear, to make evident, to make apparent. So you manifest something. The best way to do it is you have to have a revelation of something, a revelation. And when you get that revelation, that's what Oprah calls the aha moment. And so when I ask a lot of celebrities I work with, did you kind of know that you were going to be this actor or this singer or this Broadway performer? And I'm trying to tell you, most of them say, yes, I got a revelation, some aha moment where I saw somebody on stage, or I read a book, or I just felt it, and they got a revelation. So, number one, to manifest, you have to get a revelation. A revelation leads to conviction. I beg you to hear this. The conviction is that you know that you know that you know, not that you know that you know. I want you to know that you know that you know that you know that you are going to manifest something amazing. You're going to manifest in April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So you got to get a revelation. Number two, it leads to conviction. Conviction leads to action. It's in that action that the manifestation becomes clear, evident, and apparent. But it starts with a revelation.
Perfect, perfect, lovely. So let's move forward. So, guys, I'm seeing the support to the miracle mindset. So I've seen people purchase it, inboxing me saying they've purchased it. I'm seeing the support. Getting Tim Storey here today is not something that will come around easily or again really in life. So we need to really utilize this, guys. I'm going to reset the hand raise. The reason is I keep trying to bring people up and they've either stepped away or I don't know, the app sometimes plays up. So the hand raise is now back open. Would like to show some support to Tim with the Miracle Mindset, his new book. If you haven't got the book, if you need to go download the first chapter, at least it's in my link tree. Go to my link tree, go to the Winners Club link tree, and you will see the link straight down to the book. So once again, I'm going to say thank you to Tim. And let's move forward. We're going to do a reset after this question just to refresh for anyone that's new in the room. So flash your mics as we work down. Anyone wants to ask Monique a question? We have Audrey.
Hey, thank you so much, Tim. Everything that you have been sharing has been so incredibly inspiring, and I'm so thankful that you are here. My question is kind of centered around people who may get within their own way. And the reason that they may get in their own way can be so many different reasons. So my question is, what advice would you give someone where they can turn pain into something that can catapult them rather than debilitate them? Hopefully that makes sense.
It does. It's a very good question, and you have a great voice. You're good at what you do. I think that we are constantly trying to find ways to sabotage ourselves. It's truly amazing. And I think that many times it's because the labels that were put on us when we were young. A label or a tag denotes your value, your usage, and your content. So if somebody labeled you something that was not positive when you were young, or even as a teenager or in your early 20s, it's amazing how many times that you only rise to the point of that label or tag. So if somebody has on Prada, Gucci, Christian Louboutin, they have a Birkin bag, they're like, okay, that's a certain label. I'm going to rise to that tag. I find that a lot of people have been tagged and labeled in a negative way. And so they do not rise up to who they really are, and they sabotage themselves because they don't understand their true value. That you are a world shaker, you are history maker, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you are a freaking miracle in motion.
Thank you.
Awesome stuff. How many people are taking value from today? Thank you, Tim, again for being here. Great questions, great answers. And I know that there's so many people we've had back dozens and dozens of DMs on Insta and messages on Facebook and all that kind of good stuff. There's not many opportunities that you get in life to speak to a guy like Tim potentially and get him to directly ask your questions. So we really appreciate you guys being here. Paul's going to quickly reset the room. So we're all online and on track. Paul, over to you.
Hello, guys. So, yes, you are with the Winners Club here, Breakfast with Winners. We have the wonderful Tim Storey for a Q&A. Not quite sure how long we've got, Tim, but he'll tell us after this reset. If you can follow Tim and all of the moderators and speakers on stage, if you follow the Winners Club as well by clicking on the greenhouse, join the club so you can be notified of all of the rooms that the Winners Club run. And we do Breakfast with Winners every single morning, 6:30 a.m. UK time, GMT, through till around about 9:30, 10 a.m. And whenever the room finishes up. Last week it overrun because Tim was giving loads and loads of great value, so we kept the room open. Also, if you want to get Tim's book, The Miracle Mentality, you can click on the Winners Club bio, Ashley's bio, my bio, own Paul with the blue background, or James. You can follow through to the Winners Club and click get the book, and it will take you to a page to order the book. And you can also view a live feed of the studio here. We're live from London, Ashley, James and I in the studio, and you can view that by also clicking on the Winners Club bio, and you can view our wonderful faces, or not so wonderful faces, because we was up really early to get here to the studio. Thank you for being here. Ashley, back to you. Tim, it's really good to have you here. I hope you can stay for a bit longer.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So I will be bringing people up onto stage. Let's just get through everyone who wants to ask a question. So let's have some flashes of mics. Charisse.
Hi, thank you so much. Hi, Tim. I've been following you into all your rooms, and I so appreciate all of the time, the love, the energy, and support that you're giving everyone. So thank you for being here for part 2. Thank you to the Winners Club for allowing me to be a part of this and be on stage and ask my question. So I thought I had one question, and then I listened to you tell the story of being a young boy and the story of your father and his passing, and I'm just truly blown away, which happens every time I step into one of your rooms and you're speaking. You just always say something, share something new that blows me away. And I'll frame my question by saying, I'm a mom of 6 children and I'm an early educator. So I've worked with hundreds of children, and more so, I'm working with parents now. And a lot of times I hear worries and challenges about us raising our children. And I think that ultimately, people are worried about school and worried about academics and worried about these things. But really, we want our children to grow up to be Tim Storey. We want our children to grow up to be happy and successful and peaceful and have a great mindset and be grateful. But sometimes things happen to us in our lives where it can change the trajectory of our life. And when I hear the story about your father, I feel like for a young child, that's something that can really turn into a story that we use to excuse ourselves from success along the way, that we endured certain hardships and now we're not able to attain X, Y, and Z. And I loved what you talked about earlier about planting and plowing and harvesting. And I truly believe that, we are all seeds, and we're all meant to be whatever it is we're meant to be. And it's the people around us, raising us and cultivating us, whose job it is to just make sure that our seed gets enough sunlight, enough shade, enough water. We don't have to force it to grow into an orange tree or an apple tree. Like, that seed, if it gets everything it needs, it's going to grow to be whatever it was meant to be. And then, the world for all of time is going to have what it needs, because we nurtured that apple seed to grow into an apple tree. So my question for you is, like, who were the major cultivators in your life that still allowed you to get the right amount of sunlight, the right amount of shade, the right amount of water, so that these traumatic events in your life didn't change the trajectory of your life, and that, the world was still able to benefit from having Tim Storey rise up and shine? So this is Sharice, and that's my question. Thank you so much.
Great communicator, Sharice. You're phenomenal. I teach a message that I probably have spoken in 30 countries of the world, and it's sometimes you have to go left before you get right. And I really want you to hear just a little bit of this, is that we all want what's right. We want what's apropos, germane, in the groove, in sync. And so I would have never ordered my father's death from Life's Diner. Nobody orders being abused. Nobody orders having asthma as a kid, having lupus. Nobody orders their parents' divorce on purpose. But sometimes we go left. To be left many times is to be rejected, forsaken. Something did not work. And so many times when someone goes left, they try to fix the blame instead of fixing the problem. They fix the blame instead of fixing the problem. So now you're left. Maybe your parents got divorced or something bad happened to you as a kid. Like in my case, my father passed away. He died. So, but when you're left, you have to say, how did I get here? How did I get left? And now that I'm left, what can I learn? And you can turn your left into what I call a library of learning and a sanctuary of getting deeper. And that's what I did in my left. It is the left of my pain, of my father passing, the pain of being poor, the pain of having prejudice against me, that I have used as fuel to rise to the positions where life has allowed me to rise. So sometimes you got to go left before you get right. So you are maybe sitting left, but you can get seasoned on the left to get ready to soar on the right. Some of you have been very left, but get ready. You're about to be very right.
Oh,
Thank you.
amazing.
That's so beautiful, Tim. I'm wondering though, like, where did that come from? Is that just something innate within you that God spoke to you and you were able to accept it? Or was there someone in your life that kind of cultivated the ability to think that way and drive that way?
I think that it's innate in all of us. I think that we're all healers, and we have healing inside of us. So I think it's, if we stop and look and listen and slow down to the speed of life, that there's something in us that knows we're supposed to rise up and be restored. But I also believe that it was in mentors in my life that were around, and some of them were my sports coaches and some were my teachers, that many times they didn't even say anything to me. I just watched how they were, and I wanted to respond and react and get back up. But I guarantee you that when you're left, you're left, and you want to get back up and get right. And thank you for the question.
Fantastic question, fantastic share. Thank you very much to Tim. We're just going to quickly do another little reset of the room just to make sure that everybody is understanding what is going on here today. So this is the Breakfast with Winners, brought to you by the Winners Club. We are honored and privileged to have the one and only Tim Storey, one of the world's most in-demand motivational speakers and life coaches, who is here today sharing his wisdoms, learnings, lessons, and insights, which is super exciting. Tim is one of the most in-demand people on the planet for what he does, and we've had access to him not once but twice, because we brought him back for a round 2 last week. He broke the internet, and we're probably going to break the internet again today, aren't we, quite frankly? But here's the thing, what we want for you guys to do now is to have the opportunity to ask Tim a question. We appreciate that not every day you get to speak to a guy who is the go-to man of celebrities, actors, authors, athletes, and all that kind of good stuff. So we want to make sure that everyone gets as much value as possible. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open it up to some of the panel. And we're going to open it up to some of the people who have come up, put their hands up to ask a question. So if you've been sat in the audience since like 6:30 this morning, patiently waiting for a long time to ask your question to Tim, this is now your opportunity. So we've had the hand raise open for a little while. There's a couple of people who've come up. So if you've just been brought up to the stage, if you had your hand raised, flash your mic if you'd like to ask a question. Just want to know who's still around. That's fantastic. And while we do that, guys, what we'd love for you to do is go and give Tim a follow. This is a man who has hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers around the internet. But here on Clubhouse, he's only got 7,400 people. Come on, let's get him up. Let's build that number up. Let's get him some more fans and followers, because the more people that we can get to follow Tim, the more people who can hear his amazing and very, very important message. So click on Tim's face. He is at the top. I know it's got a little bit confusing now because half the panel have now got Tim's face, but the original, the OG, the actual Tim, the official, authentic Tim is in the top row in the middle. The extra handsome Tim. So go and give him a follow right there, right now, please. We'd very much appreciate it. Right, we're going to go to some Q&A from people who've come up, who've been brought up to this stage. So we're going to go to flash your mics again if you've just been brought up to ask a question, if you had your hand raised. Just double checking who's there. Right, do you know what? Let's go to, first of all, let's go to Mark. Mark has got his party hat on, which means he's been on the platform for less than a week. He's a newbie, everybody. So let's welcome him in with open arms. Mark, what is your question, my friend?
Thanks so much. Thank you, everybody. It's been such a good session. I'm a founder of a digital enablement company called Mobile Moment, and we're moving into a coaching and speaker role space. So my question to you, Tim, really is, how do we understand family boundaries, specifically to protect time and capacity? Because going into new roles and discovery and failing forward, I don't want to fail at my family. It's family first in my environment. Yeah, what do you think?
Are you talking about it as far as putting your family first and working too many hours? Help me out with the question a little more.
Thanks, Tim. So yes, because the space is for digital enablement, I try only to do a 5 to 9 kind of workspace because it's entrepreneurial. There are times before and after that I need to work. I've got a son coming in July, so I'm really happy about that. But the question specifically is around how you changed your focus and how you made family an important aspect of your life, not to give them less time.
I think that's a beautiful question. And so I'm not really with a lot of my buddies who I run with who are chasing everything. I'm really not chasing anything at all. I don't chase. I think that there's a difference between chasing and cooperating. And again, when I say this, I'm just talking about friends, but I was telling Oprah Winfrey about this because she said, I love this thing that you say, that you don't believe in chasing your dream, you believe in cooperating with it. I believe that the universe has spoken over every one of our lives. So what the heck am I chasing? I'm simply cooperating. And so in that cooperation, that means I can be fully present, fully feeling, and fully alive. And so I want to be there. I want to be present with my children. I want to spend time with my children. If they score a goal in football, as you guys would say in Europe, we would say soccer in America. But if they score a goal in football, I don't want to be texting. I want to be in the moment watching them score. So I am all about that. In fact, I went and rented a house not far from my mother because she's now 90 years of age. And when she turned 88, I went and rented a house by her so I could spend more time with her. In the midst of my busy schedule being pulled in so many different directions, I went and rented a house by my mom just so I could be in the moment around my own mother. And so I think that life will bless you for being that type of father. There's no doubt about it.
Thanks, Tim. So were there structures that you put in place? Because I do have a ritual in the morning that helps me get grounded, so I run and stuff. So when you gear up for speaking and do worky kind of tasks, do you structure that kind of time differently?
I would say that the idea of, I remember when I had a crush on this girl named Carrie when I was in 6th grade. I didn't have to really overthink it. I just wanted to be around her. And so I don't really overthink it. You know, I have a son and I have a daughter. Um, I've been a single man for over 15 years. And, but I don't overthink it. I love my kids so much. So I text them a lot. I'm with them a lot. They're with me a lot. They travel with me. They've been working with me since they were little kids. And so to me, that's really not part of my big structure side of me. That's part of my delight. I think some things are discipline, some things are delight. My children are my delight.
Oh, what a great way to look at it. I think so many of us get so guilty of, the trying to find that work-life balance kind of thing. But actually, what a great, beautiful, different perspective on it. That some things are sort of part of your routine and some things are part of your delight. Nice way to look at the same thing through a different lens. Excellent coaching, as I'd expect nothing less from the one and only Tim Storey. Glenn, coming to you next, my friend. What is your question for the legend that is Tim?
Hey guys, I just bought an iPad. This is my first day on Clubhouse, even though I registered however long ago. I've never logged on until today.
Oh, congratulations, Glenn.
Thank you.
Congratulations. That's big news. Did you just come on to tell us about your iPad or have you got a question?
No, my question is, I have done the hustle grind and all of that, and I've really made something. I've really done really, really well. But I used empathy a lot, where I almost wanted the success of the clients that I worked with more than they did. So I really felt their wins. The downside of that is I almost have a pathological desire and need to be liked. So haters and negative feedback and criticism, primarily online, has a disproportionate pain for me. And I've heard advice, oh, you've just got to ignore haters. Oh, you've just got to, and there's all this superficial advice that is out there of how to deal with negativity that up until now, years of it hasn't worked. That sort of, hey, oh, just don't worry about it. That hasn't worked for me. I do worry about it and it does impact me. Is there anything that I can do that Tim might advise? Or really, if I want the success, do I have to put up with the pain that it seems inherent to the business that I'm in? Thank you for letting me ask, by the way.
Okay, you have backed yourself right into my strength. And great question. Okay, so number one, all of us have a mission. A mission is an assignment, a plan, an operation. We should follow your mission, means to obey, to yield, to respond. Because somebody is waiting for you on the other side of your mission. And so this is the beautiful thing. So when I decided to be a healer and a helper of people, I did it not just for my own self, but because somebody was waiting for me on the other side of my obedience. So if I speak in the Philippines to 38,000 people, that somebody was waiting for me on the other side of my obedience to my mission. So watch, you have a mission, you must follow the mission, somebody's waiting for you, but there's always going to be an opposition to the mission. And this is what you're talking about. To oppose is somebody that's trying to hold you back, that many people sometimes call haters. They're going to try to resist you, sometimes criticize you, sometimes try to obstruct you. many times it's because of jealousy. Okay. So it's that old idea of what you think about me is none of my business. And can you get that way? Hell yes. And you don't have to be from Compton. I'm not tripping on who's opposing me. I'm so caught up in my mission, being obedient to my mission, and changing people's lives that haters are going to hate. But God's opinion of me makes man's opinion irrelevant. That's how I roll.
Oh
Thank
wow,
you, my man.
power!
Much appreciated. I'll stay on the path. Thanks, guys, for everything.
Did that have a big impact, Glenn? Is that what you needed to hear?
I guess I've just got to attempt some more different, mental strategies, because it truly is. I've almost become inherent to, like, I've almost become accepting of it, that if I want to play, I've got to play. And I guess I've tried to kind of focus, and that is how I've dealt with it up until now. I've focused on the people that were waiting for me, to use that story and that example. I've focused on the ones who love me, my clients, they chipped in just as a tip. And here in Australia, we don't have a tip. We don't tip for good service. We just pay, and that's that. There's no tipping after the fact. Well, my clients got together, just a half a dozen of them or so, and bought me a $30,000 Harley Davidson just to say thank you for what I did, above and beyond fees. So the way I've dealt with it up until now is focus on those lovers, but it has never yet anesthetized me from the pain of dealing with the negativity. So all I can do is keep on trying. With
But I
thanks.
promise you, imagine the space that I'm in. To be in 75 countries of the world. In some of these countries, I've been to 70 times. Okay. And so you're going to face resistance from people that say, in fact, my book, Miracle Mentality, HarperCollins paid me a lot of money to write this book. And a lot of people many times are saying, why are you writing a book on miracle mentality in the midst of a damn pandemic? You're trying to get people to think positive. So you're going to have resistance in anything you do. But I think that you are so close to being there that keep thinking about the results. Think about the people's lives you're changing. For me, damn it, it's worth the battle. It's worth the fight. It's worth the resistance to have helped somebody's son who did not commit suicide because he heard Tim Storey talk. To me, that's worth it. It's much louder in my mind than some naysayer who is not feeling good about themselves.
Yeah, damn straight. I do like the way you just said that if you think of it as almost sporting, that if you want to achieve some of these things, there's going to be some opponents. And hey, that's just evidence that you're in the game, that there's competition, there's opponents.
Yeah, and
so,
you're gonna and we're gonna get our butts kicked for what we do. I mean, Nelson Mandela was in prison for over 25 years. So we're come on. You don't have to be from Compton, California to be tough. You guys got tough areas too. But man, we're scrappy. We fall on our ass, we get back up, we roll, and we go change people's lives. Let's change the planet.
Love that power quote. Cheers, Glenn. Thank you for coming up and sharing. Very much appreciate it. Right. If you've been brought up recently to the stage, if you had your hand raised, give us a flash of your mics. We better go to Claire because she's flashing so fast. I fear that she might break a finger. Claire, are you there?
Claire with a broken finger in Scotland. Thank you for letting. Can you hear me?
We can now. You were in and out. I think you're back.
Yeah, my AirPod just lost all its juice. Okay, so Tim, absolutely amazing to talk to you. I feel extremely honoured. And talking about changing the world, I'm trying to change a little bit of it in Scotland, and that is young Scottish entrepreneurs. I have a real passion to help them through funding and mentoring and coaching and getting a sort of a hybrid of people together to help these young Scottish entrepreneurs. I feel that geographically we are slightly challenged, but we've got some great entrepreneurs. I've recently launched a membership on the back of my bricks and mortar business to generate funds to follow this passion. And really what I'm trying to ascertain is how much should I elaborate with my within my membership about what I'm doing, why I'm putting this membership together. They're completely separate. The membership is around tea and love of Scotland, that type of thing, and my passion is for the young entrepreneurs, and they don't actually match together. But I don't know how much I should be telling my membership why I'm doing the membership.
Okay. Number one, I love Scotland and I love the way you talk. Okay.
Thank you.
So I want you to really hear me. We need to just simply prosper where we're planted. I don't think everything is quick expansion. And I'm not saying you're saying that. But Mother Teresa started with less than 10 orphans. And she's now not on this planet. And she's touching tens of thousands of orphans every day around the world. But she started with less than 10. And so I think that what you do is you lay the foundation and you pour into the people that you are helping, the education, the conversation, the observation. You build them up. And as I said earlier, you build your spot and life will put the spotlight on your spot. And people like us will find you. I'm telling you, there's so many entrepreneurs that are listening right now that are now hearing what you do. And the more we hear about it, and not that you have to say it over and over, then we're going to give you a follow and pay attention and see what you're doing and that it's working. But build your spot and life will put the spotlight on your spot. But even if you only change 3 lives, that would be amazing. And you might change 3 million, but even if you change 3, that's amazing too. So I'm excited about what you're doing.
Thanks, Tim. That's brilliant. Much appreciated. And if you're in Scotland, come and look me up.
Send me your address right now.
I've got a great tea shop and we do brilliant cakes, so you'd love it.
Oh, that is the most British day out ever, isn't it? Can we make that happen when the world opens up? Can we all take Tim Storey to a tea shop in Scotland? Who would be up for that? Flash your mics, mods, if you fancy coming to Scotland to Hetty's Tea Rooms to take Tim Storey for a cuppa.
Going to have tea in Scotland.
Tea in Scotland, how polite.
Scotland. And actually, we blend our own tea, so it's Hetty's tea in Scotland.
Oh, well, just another reason why we should all go there. If we needed more reasons, as if it wasn't good enough that Tim Storey was going to be there, now we can have hand blended tea as well, guys. So for those who are sitting on the fence, it's hand blended. There we go. Job done. Right.
Even better, though. Even better. I want to shout out, if you haven't already and you're in the audience, Tim should come over to the pond like myself and so many of us are when Ashley opens up the in-person meetup, which if you're interested in attending, you can click on his Instagram, click on that first link, and you can sign up for your details. I feel like Tim should come. Like, that'll be like the bigger party of the parties. This is Liza Nguyen speaking.
Thank you for the plug, Liza. There you go. You don't have to plug yourself when you've got Liza around here. Fantastic. Great job. Right. If you've just been invited to the stage, please flash your mic. Chandra, I see you flashing non-stop. What is your question, my friend?
Thank you very much, James, and Tim. Lovely to meet you. My question is about dealing with grief. I'm sorry to hear about your dad. I lost my dad 6 years ago to a car accident as well. He was 93. He was in good health, and he passed away on the scene. It's been difficult to deal with grief since then. That's 6 years later. What advice would you give about dealing with grief?
First of all, sorry about your loss as well. Well, I've done a lot of research on grief, and studies have found that the idea of grief, it's an amazing thing. It usually stays with a person about 2 years. That if you've lost some person or even something that you really loved and were connected to, that there is a grieving period that usually lasts about 2 years. And what it is, it's like an inner groaning. But the inner groaning is not always negative, because It's a groaning and a longing for what was lost, that what used to fill you and now is gone. And so what I like to do is, if somebody has passed away, is that I say to them, what did you learn from that person? Let's try to take the lessons that we learned from the person, whether it be your mother, your brother, your father, your grandfather, what did a best friend, what did you learn? And then secondly, let's keep their legacy alive. Well, how do we keep their legacy alive? You don't have to build a library in their honor, but by quoting them, by saying the things they used to say, by telling their stories and what they accomplished and what they did and what they said to other people. So we keep the legacy alive and we learn from them. But the grieving is part of it, and that just shows how deeply we cared.
Thank you very much, Tim. That was really good. Thank you.
That was a beautiful assessment, Tim. I love that. I often find myself these days like trying to give the wisdom and insights to my children that my dad gave to me. I'm like, why do I keep doing this? Well, I'm not trying to turn into my dad, but actually, like I say, I'm just trying to help make sure that his legacy lives on, which is a lovely way of looking at it. Right, I was going to say flash your mics if you've just been invited to the stage, but a couple of minutes ago, I'm not sure if anybody else heard it, but somebody went, I've got the opportunity to speak. And we saw who unmuted at that point. So I think as they were that excited about it, we should probably give them the opportunity. Joyal, I believe it was you who accidentally unmuted and told who else you were in the room with to shut up because you're about to get the opportunity to speak. So now is your time. This is your moment. Here you go. You can ask Tim Storey anything you'd like to.
I didn't know you heard me.
Yes, we did.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much. It is that exciting listening to Tim. So thank you. Tim, I listened to you last week, downloaded your book, started listening to it. And my question was last week, you mentioned the Motown story. And why it was so important for you, and why we should listen to it, and how it would help us. So, what is it about the Motown story that you found so intriguing? And also, I've got to say, you look like I've got the name of the star name, but you look like one of them.
Smokey Robinson.
Smokey Robinson, yeah.
So Smokey is one of my best friends in the world. He's my golfing partner. He also endorsed the new book, Miracle Mentality, and he is like my brother, Smokey Robinson. So the Motown story is so interesting because Berry Gordy was a man who really paid attention to talent. And just think about it. He was able to get Marvin Gaye, Smokey Robinson, Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross and the Supremes under one house. And if you look at a Google of the Motown house in Detroit, they call it Hitsville, USA. This is what I was talking about last week. And the whole idea is we do not want to let out regular records out of this house. We are creating hits. We are creating hits. This is so powerful. And this is what this group is doing this morning, right now. We're creating hits. I didn't stay up this late in America to not create hits. And so let's say if Stevie Wonder was in one studio, Berry Gordy would bring Smokey over, or if Marvin Gaye was in the studio and say, what do you guys think about it? And they would say, it's a hit, or it's not a hit. You need to change it up a little bit because it's not a hit. And that's the power of collaboration. Could you imagine if we all started getting involved in each other's life just because we care about each other and collaborated and built each other up and said, come on, let's make hits. So that's what I love about Motown. And look how the Motown sound started in the 50s. And it's just as much alive in our children's children today as it was then, because they put out hits, just like we are here today.
Thank you very much. It's been an honor to listen to that. And I think, yeah, definitely thank you for the explanation on that. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Joelle, for coming up and asking a great question. Much appreciated. Just to quickly reset the room one more time, guys. This is Breakfast with Winners, brought to you with the Winners Club. Today on the show, we have got the one and only Tim Storey, life coach, expert, motivational speaker to the stars. He came on last week and he broke the internet. We normally run the room from sort of 6:30 in the morning to about 9:30, 10 o'clock. And last week we ended up running on to about 10:30, 11:15, which we thought was late, but it's the middle of the night for Tim. So we can only once again say with huge gratitude and humble appreciation how much we appreciate Tim's time. We are trying to make sure that as many people as possible get a chance to ask their question to Tim today. I'd love, if you're enjoying this conversation, mods, speakers, flash your mics. Show some love. Everyone's loving it. Fantastic. About half the room looks like Tim Storey now, who does look like Smokey Robinson. I was trying to work it out this morning. That's exactly it. And we're gonna try and get through as many people as possible, because I know that this is, for a lot of people, this is like a lifelong dream, because we've had people DMing and messaging on Facebook about how much it would mean to come up and ask their question on the stage. If you have been brought up recently, please feel free, flash your mic. And Anthea, you've been flashing.
Sorry, can we just recap the fact that, just replay backwards, that Tim just actually said his golfing partner is Smokey Robinson. How cool is that? And how envious everybody on the stage actually is.
How cool is that? I get to knock about with Ashley Shipman and Paul Apple Crumble, as my son calls him, and he's hanging out with Smokey Robinson. Just saying, levels. Right, Anthea, have you got a question that you would love to ask Tim?
Yes. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Okay, Smokey Robinson, being with you, Tim, if you could just tell him that I was born in 1981. That is one of my favorite songs. My question is, you spoke about uncommon resilience and uncommon everything, right? And that doesn't gel with people who you surround yourself with, just generally. Like, you have to really be cherry picking with who you surround yourself with. But my question is about transmutation. And I did text you just in case I didn't have the chance to ask it. When you are speaking and someone responds and it kind of throws you left, what is that quick reset technique that you would use to get yourself back on track and stay in that flow?
Okay, number one, you're going to like Smokey Robinson. So just see yourself as meeting him. He's like the nicest human on the planet. He is so nice. Like, yeah, he's so kind.
I love it.
So I want to get you to the point where you're not even thinking about responding to people like that. If I could take you to a sports metaphor for just a second, or Michael Jordan, if he missed his first 3 shots in a game, he was not nervous because he had practiced so much. He knew that through the game, he was going to find his shot. There are times on a stage that for the first 7 minutes of a 35-minute speech, could be in front of 35,000 people, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the stage. I'm not feeling the climate, the culture. I'm jabbing. I'm trying to find myself. But it's all that practice that I've done. I've done that, all that practice behind the scenes. I've studied all those hours. I've spoken so many times. So it's back to that revelation that brings conviction, that brings action. So don't be so quick to respond to anything, because once you put in the work, you're going to find your place. And even if you have some resistance from a crowd or from a person, come on. If you miss a few shots, you're going to find your spot. So that revelation brings conviction. Conviction brings action. It's that confidence that you just keep when you really become a master at what you do. Great question.
Thank you so much, Tim. You're an absolute miracle. And I'm so glad that I've just been aligned this morning to be in this room. Thank you, guys. You're amazing. Thank you so much, Tim.
Oh, amazing. What a pleasure to hear people getting so much value and so much enjoyment from the answers. Thank you, Tim, for generously giving your time. Next person we're going to bring up, but this guy's been flashing for non-stop for ages. Saul, I believe is how we pronounce your name. And I had to also bring this guy up, not only because he was flashing his mic loads, but he's also the producer of Doc McStuffins. If you haven't got small children, that means nothing to you. If you have got small children, this guy's a lifesaver. So Saul, what's your question to Tim Storey?
Yeah, great. Great to be here, Tim. Really inspiring words. Just to ask you a quick question. I'll say it quickly. I spent my career working very hard early on to become a Disney animator. I went through a lot of rejection. I finally got into Disney, worked on Pocahontas, lots of fun Disney stuff. But I want to take you back, Tim, for just a minute to the second time I tried to get into Disney. I was a junior in college, prestigious art school, and I got rejected. And when I got rejected the second time, I gave up on my dream because reality had set in. And reality was, there Disney was for great people. Michael Jordan's out there, the artists that are Michael Jordan, but I wasn't that great artist, and I had given up. And then I went and saw the movie Rudy. I don't know if you've heard of that film. It's a true story about this incredible football player who was
Yeah,
five
yes, I
feet.
have. Of course.
He's
Yes.
right, of course, right. He's 5 feet tall. He doesn't have an ounce of athletic ability, and he tries to get in. After many tries, he gets in. And I remember when I was feeling rejected and down before I saw that movie, I remember thinking, and I was actually saying this to my sister, if I get into Disney, I will be happy every day of my life just sitting at a table drawing the same drawing of Mickey Mouse over and over. But years later, if I had to go back and talk to myself, you know what I would tell myself? Grow up. Don't think that life is about finding meaning, just sitting at a table drawing the same drawing over and over again. The question I want to ask you is, how many times do you meet people in your circles? You've obviously influenced and inspired many successful people, but people that even after they've achieved their dream, after rejection, they get their dream and they wake up and they're just not happy. One of the messages that I give a lot is that life shouldn't just be about looking for what makes me happy. Life should be about what brings me meaning. And meaning really comes from serving. Do you find that out of the successful people that you've met out there, that meaning sometimes eludes them, and that they've achieved Oscars and money and fame, and they just don't have a sense of accomplishment? And what do you find is missing? And what do you tell a person like that?
I love your voice and I love your story.
Thank you, brother.
Why don't you DM me? Because I'm in the same space as you are. I'm creating a great cartoon right now with Randy Jackson, formerly of American Idol.
Sure.
DM me. I'd like to talk to you.
Would love that. Thank you.
But I think the rejection is actually very good for us. I think the rejection is very needed because it helps strengthen us and helps create resilience. It's like the illustration that people give about a toddler trying to learn to walk. They fall and get up and 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 fall and get up. And I like to teach it this way, that before you soar like an eagle, you got to sit and learn. Then you got to stand in what you learned. Then you walk in what you learned. Then you run in what you learn, and then you soar. I think that too many people, they have the dream and they just want to soar. No, you got to sit and learn. And sometimes that's that rejection. And you stand in what you learn. Sometimes there's rejection there too. And then you walk it out. And sometimes there's rejection and resistance there too. But then you start to run. And that's that place of passion. A lot of you guys are in that running place and you're not even recognizing it. And then you get lifted up and you soar. And I think that's a beautiful thing that I honestly believe this. If I could just say this, some of you, your life is about to get so good in the next 12 months, it's going to be weird. Your life is going to be so good. You're going to say, like, what the heck just happened to me? Whether it's a play you wrote or a book you wrote or a script you wrote or business you did, but you got to sit, you got to stand, you got to walk, you got to run, and then you're going to soar.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Appreciate the inspiration, man.
How cool is that? And what a great analogy that someone in the next 12 months, their life's going to get so good, it's going to be weird. Who would flash your mics if you'd like your life to be so good it's a little bit weird? Yeah, nice analogy, isn't it? Right, we're going to go to the next person. This person has been flashing their mic consistently for the last 25 minutes. Even when Tim is talking, this person is flashing. This person, we said, change your profile picture to Tim's book. This person has gone one better. They've got a picture of Tim reading Tim's book. So as they've gone so deeply in, But we can only reward that effort and energy. I think it's Julie or Julie Kim. Are you there? Would you like to rest your weary hand and ask your thought out question?
Yes, this is Jewel. I'm so happy.
You made it, Jewel. You made it.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited. Hi, Tim. It's so nice to talk to you. So, in your book, you talk about this moment where you went to pick up your children and you wanted to take them to Disneyland again, right? And you tell your daughter that you would take her to Sephora. And then your daughter tells you it doesn't always have to be this big thing. She tells you, let's just go to your house. And you describe in that moment, you were blown away because you realized that the important thing was spending time together. It wasn't about trying to pull together a huge event every weekend. So here's my question for you. What is the biggest learning you've gained because of your children? And how did that affect how you oriented your book? This is Jewel. I'm pausing my mic.
Jewel, I like you. Did I DM you?
Yes, you did.
See, I'm nice, people. I like Jewel. Okay, so this is an interesting thing about being a person that your life gets kind of grand and gets kind of unrealistic. So a lot of my life since my early 20s has been grand and unrealistic. So, you know, you're speaking at grand places and you go to grand parties and you're helping people in grand ways and you go on grand vacations. And so you think that that's what your kids want. And so I remember I was always like telling my son, we're going to the Laker game, the LA Laker game. We're going to sit on the floor next to Jim Carrey and Tiger Woods. He's like, why? that wasn't exciting to him. He's like, Dad, can't we just sit somewhere? Why do we have to sit on the floor next to these people? I don't want to always be around these people. That threw me off, just to be honest. And so my daughter really put me in my place. And she says, Dad, it doesn't have to be an event. Life is not just an event. Can't we just be around each other? Oh my goodness. But I will tell you, Jewel, I learned. I listened and I learned. And I had to learn to slow down to the speed of life because my life had become exaggerated. And I tried to take that into my relationships with my children, with my mother, with my sisters, with somebody I was dating. And so I definitely learned my lesson to slow down to the speed of life and be fully present, fully feeling, fully alive. It does not always have to be an event.
Jewel, are you happy? How do you feel right now?
I'm freaking ecstatic.
Of course you are.
And I wrote down the notes. Slow down to the speed of life. It's amazing because it's so simple, but it's not something we hear all the time. Thank you
Jewel,
so much.
I DM'd you. Do you want to know why I DM'd you? Because listen to this. You have to understand how busy all of us are, right? But I think some of us are so busy that we don't pay attention to somebody that is doing something that's amazing that you're supposed to connect to. There was a guy that DM'd me 2 days ago, and he put his phone number in there. And he said, I know you won't call. And I called him 2 hours later, and he goes, no, be honest. This is not Tim Storey. I said, dude, you just gave me your number. Why did I call? Because he's magical too. Come on. Magical people need to collaborate.
Oh my goodness, Tim, you're the best. And I'll be honest, I did not expect you to respond to my DM, but you completely did. And you even responded to the next DM. And you told me that you were coming back. So I was like, I got to read the book. I got to read the book.
No, but
So
I don't
thank you
understand.
so much, Tim. I loved every moment talking to you. Back over to you.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much, Jewel. I'm glad we've made your day. I also see that Liza has changed her picture to her outside Hitsville, USA. Tim, you were mentioning it, the Motown headquarters, the famous Hitstown, USA.
That.
How cool is
Liza
that?
is always one step ahead. You know that, Ashley. You know that already. She's one step ahead.
She knows what's going on, doesn't she? How cool is that? Is that literally the bit? Was all of those hits made in that one little place?
Yes, it's
Unbelievable.
life-changing. If you ever come to the United States and you don't go there, I actually sent him a message. I had the opportunity of having 2 private tours, and both I bawled my eyes out, and it's just transformative. And the way Tim described it, it's true. Like, a lot of people don't know that Diana Ross actually started as a receptionist there because she wanted to be exactly what Tim was saying earlier, right? Like, magical people need to collaborate. She just was there. She was going to be the receptionist, and she was determined to, do her record. Had no expectation. One day there was some time, she got on the mic, and when everybody heard her voice, the rest is history. But they were committed. There was nothing that was going to come out of that place if it wasn't a hit. I mean, it is transformative. If you're in the United States or outside of the United States, please make sure you visit that once before you leave this planet. This is Liza, and I'm done speaking. Oh, we got to just go there for one moment, Ashley, because Liza, that was such a great story because it's so true. So I think some people are unwilling to be the receptionist because they know they're a great singer. So Diana Ross knew she was a great singer, but she was willing to be the receptionist, even though she was a great singer. Guys, the key is just get in the room. And that's what we're doing this morning. We're shaking it up. We're all in the room. You may feel like the receptionist today, even though you have a magical voice or magical gift. But guess what? Your gift will make room for you and will bring you to the top.
Didn't your sisters dress you up as Diana Ross, Tim?
They did, and I talked about that in the book because I had 3 sisters and I'm the youngest brother. And one time they decided, damn, we're bored. Let's dress him up as Diana Ross.
Right, guys, let me just do a quick reset. And don't worry, Liza, we're Ashley's planning an event in London, but we're planning the Winners Club World Tour. So we're working out where we can come and do these live broadcasts from at some point and visit all of our favourite people on Clubhouse. Right, okay. It's funny you mentioned, Tim, about the phone number and getting somebody sending the phone number and you actually calling them. This morning, Ashley was telling James and I a story about when this interview first came about and we first arranged for Ashley was first arranging for you to come into the room, and he said, I called a number expecting to speak to a PA or speak to somebody, and Tim actually answered the phone. He said, I couldn't believe Tim Storey answered the phone with the very first phone call, and you guys had a phone conversation. So Tim is real, definitely, and yeah, he doesn't avoid those points of communication. So it's very funny you mentioned that, because Ashley mentioned it.
Can I tell you where I learned that from, though? Is that fair? Can I just tell you?
Go for it, yeah.
Okay, probably one of the most powerful men in the history of Beverly Hills is a man named Bernie Burlstein, who passed away. So if you were to Google, you'll see Burlstein in gray, Bernie Burlstein. And Bernie just ruled and reigned Beverly Hills and what he created, what he did. And we'd be sitting there as Fargos, and John Travolta would come up and he'd sit there and talk, and Tom Cruise would come up, he'd sit there and talk. I'm like, man, Bernie, if you sit with Bernie, everybody would come to the table to talk to him. But he was such a gracious guy, such a kind guy. When you sat with him for lunch, he never looked at his phone. He just paid attention to you. And he used to say to me, Tim, be the master of the callback. If somebody calls you, call them back. If somebody reaches out to you, do your best to reach back to them. And I'm telling you, Bernie Burlstein taught me something that helped change my life. And it's an amazing thing. By planting those kind of seeds, by being that kind of guy, man, I have reached people that I never knew they're going to reach back and do something for me. But you reap what you sow. But Bernie Burlstein taught me how to be in the moment, pay attention, and reach out to people, because guess what? We're all valuable.
Thank you, Tim. So let me just do a quick reset. We are live from the studio here in London. You can view the live feed by clicking on the Winners Club bio, my bio. I'm Paul with a blue background, Ashley's bio, Victoria's bio, and you can click on live video and watch the live video. We have Tim Storey here for an extended Q&A, and Tim has a book, The Miracle Mentality. If you want to get that book, you can also find a button on those bio links to purchase the book. If you can also follow the Winners Club, which is the greenhouse above Tim at the moment, join the club so you can be advised when rooms like this are running. And we're here every single morning, 6:30 a.m. UK time GMT through to around 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. And if you can follow Tim, because he's here giving his time for free, and it is, I don't know, it's like 1 a.m. in the morning, I think, where you are, Tim, at the moment. So 1 a.m. in the morning. So if you can definitely follow Tim, because he's given his time helping so many people in this room. Ashley Shipman, over to you to carry on the Q&A.
Perfect. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. What an absolute pleasure once again with Tim answering the questions. So, guys, what we want to do is respect his time. Last time, I think he didn't leave or go to bed till about 4 a.m. through staying up through the night, where we held him so long within this room. So, guys, I do mean this. Go and give him a follow. Go and show some Clubhouse currency. Go and screenshot. Go and download the first part of his book. Go purchase his book so that you can get behind Tim, get his knowledge, get his wisdom, get his gems, as they say on Clubhouse. So we probably have around 25 minutes left here with Tim. So, guys, I want you to flash your mics if you want to ask Tim a question. And we will be working around. But, Tim, I'm going to say it again. Thank you very much for being here. So, Sohal, I understand you're there to ask a question, my friend.
I am Tim. Always a pleasure to share the stage with you. My name is Sohal Khan, expert. I always feel that my whole life is a story, and I love telling stories, and it brings me closer to people all the time. And I've made some incredible friends on this platform just from the stories that I can tell. Tim, what makes a person a great storyteller? I think you are a great storyteller. I could tell it in your voice. I think detail is very, very important. The best storytellers that I've been around are very, very good in detail of walking you through a story to where you actually think that you're there. And I feel like a lot of the motivational speakers today, they're too robotic. You know, it's like the 7 points to this, the 8 points to that. And they really miss the art of storytelling. And there's no doubt about it. If somebody connects to a good story, they will retain it longer and deeper than 7 or 8 points that you give them. But I could tell that you are a great storyteller. But detail is very important. Thank you, Tim. Always a pleasure.
Fantastic. So, guys, can I just see a flash mic just for as Tim today gave you some words of wisdom for you to take away. Let me just see the activity on the stage for the minute. Let me see some flash of mics. Brilliant. Look down there. It's lighting up like a Christmas tree. So, guys, we probably have around 25 minutes left here with Tim. So I'm going to be working my way. Who has come up from the audience, had the opportunity to ask their question as of yet? I don't want to miss anyone out. Jess, I see you there flashing. Let's go with you, my friend.
Thank you. Honored to be on stage with you, Tim. My question was, kind of about mindset and the discipline that it takes to actually write a book and how you stay productive.
I think that there's different ways to write a book. One is the old-fashioned way where you type away at the keys. The second way is handwriting. A lot of the best writers that I know, and I'm around a lot of amazing guys who write scripts that I coach in Hollywood. A lot of them, guys, it's weird. They like that. They like to write. They freehand. So sometimes you're hitting the keyboard and your computer. Sometimes you're writing it, and sometimes you're speaking it into a recording, even into your phone. And so I think that writers write. I don't wait to get a feeling, because that feeling may never come. What I'll do if I'm not in the mood to get on my computer and go at it that way, I will take out a device, maybe my phone, and I'll just start to dialogue and speak things into it. And it's amazing how the rhythm begins to flow. So I think that if you're a writer, just put the momentum out there, and then you'll start to catch that wind, and you'll just start writing. Writers write.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Fantastic. So, guys, Tony, I see you flashing as well. Are you there, my friend?
That's Tony. Are you speaking to me?
Yes, I'm sorry for the mispronunciation.
Good morning. My question was for Tim. I really appreciate all of you for giving your time and efforts in this. My question is though, how do you, or what would you do or recommend in order to? I'm coming from self-care. My passion actually came from my passion for women's, health advocacy. So I just wanted some advice from Tam about how do you, stay true to your passion for whatever it is that you're doing. And my name is Tony, and I'll take a step back.
Okay, well, I'm loving what you're doing. Number one, I think the power of partnership is the key. And so, in the different things that I do, I'm involved in prison reform. I was brought in by Robert Downey Jr. Many years ago. He brought about five of us around a table and decided that he wanted to do something in prison reform. Later brought in Scott Budnick, who produced the Hangover movies, and Shaka Senghor got involved in other people. And so we kind of all held each other accountable that we wanted to help in prison reform. Also like helping with the homeless. And so I got involved with different people and we held each other accountable. So I think that the power of partnership is very, very important, that whether it's just one partner or three partners or five partners or seven partners, is that we keep the vision in front of us, our motives correct. And I think that that helps with the process. Because I think sometimes when you do something just by yourself, and I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but when you do something just by yourself, many times it's hard just to motivate yourself. But I like to feed off other people's energy. So all my nonprofits have a lot of people around and we feed off each other's energy. But great question. And I'm excited about what you're doing.
Thank you, Tim.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, guys, anyone who's come up onto stage to ask Tim a question, let's give the audience an opportunity. Anyone here, just flash your mics, just in case I've missed anyone. Scarlett, I have seen you flashing all morning, so far away, Scarlett.
Oh, thanks, Ashley. Well, lovely to be with you, Tim. Very honoured to be sharing the stage with you. I'd love to know, what's one thing you wish you had known when you started your career?
That my life would never be the same. There's actually a Bible verse that says, "Despise not small beginnings." And when I first started out, and I was just, speaking in these little places, I didn't know that my life would come to such a place where at times I get this reaction from people. It happened to me again yesterday. I walked into a store, and this happened last week too. And a guy got real emotional. I just walked in a store and got real emotional. And he said, "Oh man, you don't even understand." He says, "Dude, you totally helped change my life." And he goes, "Can I give you a hug?" I said, "No, absolutely." So I think that when I first started out, I did not know that, my life would have the type of energy that people would want to give back to me or watch me or pay attention to my moves. And so that's a strange thing. I find more people watching me or looking at me or noticing me. Some of you know this, some of you don't, but I'm in 90 airports of the world right now, 90 airports. So when you're traveling, you'll see me on those big screens everywhere, and I'm motivating. That's Tim Storey, and you see all the text underneath. I'm in 1 million hotel rooms now, so it's kind of hard to hide. So I think that that's part of it. I never saw all this coming. I just thought I was helping people. So that's my little story on that.
Scarlett, did that help?
Yeah, lovely. Could I ask a follow-up question, Tim?
Yeah, just try and be as quick as we can because we've got about around 10 more minutes, so we need to make sure that we get through.
Just to ask, what advice would you give somebody wanting to pursue a similar career, Tim?
Okay, tell me about, you said pursue what kind of career?
Like motivational, professional speaking.
Yeah, I think you start to watch people that you like. You know, find about two or three people that you like. Whether like let's say if it was Brene Brown, Tim Storey, and one other person, and see how you would do it different. And then I don't think there's anything with practicing on your own. I used to practice all the time when I was in college by myself. I'd make sure the door was locked so my roommates didn't walk in. But you watch other people, you emulate them, you mimic them, and then you start to find your own style. And then I like to then speak at places where other people weren't speaking. I would go to to orphanages. I would go to inner city schools. I would go speak to the elderly. And so, success is finding the need and filling it. So find a few people that you appreciate and almost mimic their style until your style begins to emerge.
Wow, I'm sitting here learning. James is sitting here scribbling. We are getting notes and a masterclass here this morning. So, guys, just before we take a few final questions, what I would urge everyone to do is go to the link in my bio, James's Pause, the Winners Club. There is a link to go and download the first chapter or purchase the book so you can really dig deep and dive behind Tim and get the knowledge bombs that he has dropped in this book. So I'd all urge you to go over to our link trees. In that link tree, you see the page you need to see to download the Miracle Mindset. So we're going to take a couple more questions. Anyone want to flash their mic? Marvin?
Hi, Ash. Thanks for the opportunity to ask a question. Once again, you've filled it with another fantastic guest coming back for a second time as well. One of the reasons my bell's always on for you, mate. Tim, it's an absolute honour to get the opportunity to ask you a question. Scarlett, I think, touched on something I was going to ask, so I'm going to ask a different one. Be respectful of your time. One of the things that you said is so many people are always being human doings, I think, as you said, rather than human beings, because we're just constantly moving so fast.
Yes,
and that's right. That was something that really resonated with me, because before I set my company up, I used to work in the city on the train by, when I say city, I'm referring to London, on the train by 7 a.m, not back till 8:30. And then my son came along and sort of 3 months in to him being born, I kind of realized I needed to sort of make a change. But upon leaving, before I set up my own company, upon leaving that role, and it was a fantastic job, a great company, great pay and all the rest of that, I actually sort of went through something where, and I didn't know what it was, because I didn't know what burnout was or anything like that. But I felt my body's kind of shut down, and I went through lots of different things. Went to the doctor. They gave me drugs. When I read the details of the side effects, I thought, I'm not taking those. It's actually going to make me worse. But I tried throwing myself into the gym. I was already going sort of 4 or 5 times a week. That didn't work. And eventually, I kind of got back to a good place where I didn't feel burnout. But I guess my question to you is, referring back to the idea of human doing rather than human being, is how do you actually sort of recognize when you're, because I think you spoke about being undone at some points, how do you recognize those signs, and what do you do to actually reset yourself? Because you're giving out so much value and so much positive energy to so many people that your energy level must sort of fall at some point. How do you actually reset yourself?
Okay. Number one, I love your heart. You're a very good-hearted person. You lead with your heart. That's just something I pick up. I think that once again, we need to return to the place of innocence. And this is such a funny technique that I use with a lot of powerful men that I coach, because I have a lot of like businessmen who do like really well, and they're very stressed out. And I'll talk to them and I'll say, like, what was your favorite cartoon when you were a kid? And they'll tell me. I say, okay, your assignment for this week is to watch that cartoon 5 days in a row. And they're like, Tim, please, come on. I don't got time for that crap. And I make them do it. And they always come back to me and they go, "Oh my God, it worked." I go, "What?" They said, it just like made me think about what it was like to be a kid again. And I think that, again, we need to trigger ourselves and go back to those places of innocence where we didn't have so much responsibility. So that's what I do. I also go back to the neighborhood where I was born, probably every other month, because I just want to go there. And there's still a couple of restaurants that are there that sometimes I frequent. And I do that because I want to remember how it started. I need to be taken back to the place of innocence. So we can trigger ourselves, whether it be through cartoons, through music, childhood friends, dialoguing, not about all the pains and pressures of adult life, but talking about childhood memories. But come on, man, we need to dream like a child and work like an adult.
Brilliant, brilliant. So, guys, what I want to do is say thank you very much, Tim, for being here. I understand it is getting late where you are now. What's the time where you are now, Tim?
It is 1:51, but I want to say this to you. What a privilege to be on 2 weeks in a row. And what a privilege it is to have everybody on learning from each other. Because like I said, last week, we're all just a piece of the puzzle. And I feel like we're just continuing to sharpen each other. And thank you for letting people know about my book, The Miracle Mentality. I put my heart and soul into it. It took me 3 years to write, but it is a privilege to give the time that I've given today to everybody. What a privilege to serve. That's how I see life.
Tim, I think we are privileged for you to serve. It has been absolutely phenomenal. Could we see some mic flashes for Tim? And look, I would real urge you to go over to the link in our bios, the Winners Club, mine, James, Paul, and go to the link of his book. If you don't want to purchase it, it's just as of yet, go and download the first chapter. I'm sure you'll be buying 1, 2, 3, probably 20 to make sure they're giving out to your close work colleagues, friends, and family. It is phenomenal. And yeah, just so we just to conclude this, I want to say thank you very much, Tim. 2 weeks in a row. It's been phenomenal. And yeah, you're always welcome in Breakfast with Winners. Now, I know it's not normally the time you stay awake, but that is the commitment you gave to this room today, to this community. And yeah, I'd love to say thank you. And guys, let me see a flash of mics for Tim. Just perfect. Lovely. So I will be taking snippets for the podcast. So yeah, want to say thank you very much, Tim. We are now over with the interview. Guys, make sure you send some love, show some Clubhouse currency right now to Tim. Screenshot, send some messages through his story so he can see, and also give him a follow and put the bell notification on for when he is in the room. So yeah, Tim, it's been an absolute pleasure. You can exit now if you want, if you've got any more final words to say.
I just want to say thank you again. You do a phenomenal job, and thank you for serving. And if I could just say this, man, we may not be what we want to be, but thank God we're not what we used to be. We're all learning, growing, evolving, and get ready for an amazing April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Let's rise up and let's change this world.
Tim, you have been phenomenal. Go to my link tree, guys, and go and download that first chapter or buy the book. Tim, I wish you all the best. Please stay connected. And it's been an absolute honor to have you here twice on the show. So I'm going to be wrapping up the room now. Just before you go, I want to be passing it over to Paul. Paul, to give you some information of what is coming up in the next few weeks, the guests we have lined up. So yeah, Paul, over to you, my friend.
You throw me under the bus here. I need to quickly find the list.
He is proper thrown you there, isn't he?
I thought it was memorised.
They are memorised. So, yes, we are organised to some extent, guys. So we've got some great guests coming up on the show over the course of April. We've got Richard Walker, who is the boss of Iceland Foods, if you're in the UK, confirmed being on the show next week. We've also got Sir Timothy Smith, who, if you're in the UK, again, you'll be familiar with the Eden Project, and he's coming on the show. We've got Ash Ali, who is a former marketing director of Just Eat. When Just Eat done their IPO, he was the marketing director. So he's going to come on, and we're going to do a marketing special on the show. Who else have I missed? Oh yes, we've got Dean Kelly live with us in the studio next week. So this time next week, Friday, in the studio, there will be 4 amigos as opposed to 3 amigos, and Dean Kelly will be one of them. So looking forward to that one, and there'll be a live interview with Dean. And we've also got Beju coming into the studio as well throughout
To do the
April.
Running Man live, you say?
Yes, so that will conclude April. So some really good stuff. And we are working to get more and more good guests onto the show so we can give you nothing but great value.
Awesome stuff. Very much looking forward to it. Thank you guys for being here today. Again, I know that Ashley always says this, and he says it so often that maybe you don't hear the message clearly, but this is a community room. This is not a room that's about Ash or about me or about Paul or about any other individual. This is a collective, a community, a hub where every single day we all get together to try and just become the best versions of ourselves. All boats rise on a high tide, and the Winners Club and Breakfast with Winners is certainly leading the charge with that. I think as you're seeing the consumer behavior starting to change a little bit within Clubhouse, and people are going back to work and the world is opening back up, and maybe people are not spending as much time on the app. I think you can consistently see that people are still showing up on a daily basis here, not because of just the experts and just the people at the top of the stage, but because of that community vibe, that community feel, and the fact that this is a space, a safe, warm space of inclusivity where everybody could come and just become that 1% better every single day. So thank you for being here. Final word of the week, though, guys. I know what you're thinking. Hey, shut up, James, but we don't want to hear from you. We want to hear from the king of Clubhouse as he wraps up his room. Ash, give it a wrap.
Just would like to say, as per usual, I see you all there, see all the community. Thank you very much for all the support from everyone who comes in every morning. I see you all. Trust me, I see you all. And I see you there in the audience. Guys, I would love to see some more hand raised from the regular listeners. I look down in the audience all the time, and you do refuse my coming up to the stage button, because I do invite the regular listeners up, because I think, come on, let's meet. So pluck up the courage next week, guys, or find a little space in the morning show to come up and introduce yourself, the regular listeners, because this is a community room. We are here to help, serve, and make sure that we are connecting the dots for each other. So what I want to do is say I love you all, leave you all, and have a brilliant day, or go to bed wherever you are around the pond. So thank you very much. The room will be closing. Make sure you follow all the moderators and speakers to see where they are going next. But yeah, love you all, leave you all. Thank you very much, guys.
Let's rock and roll.